Chris Peterson and the Broncos bust in from Boise, invading Logan for a Mountain West battle against Utah State. Sophomore running back Jay Ajayi has been carrying the load on the ground already with 8 rushing touchdowns. And quarterback Joe Southwick is 3rd in the country in completion percentage for this high-octane Broncos offense. But Utah State has the top-ranked defense in the Mountain West, led by senior linebacker Jake Dowdy. It's been 16 years since Utah State beat Boise State. Is tonight the night the streak comes to an end? A crisp October evening in northern Utah, and Romney Stadium is ready to rock. It's a whiteout in Logan as the hometown Aggies look to extend their Mountain Division lead against a dangerous Boise State team. It's Mountain West football on CBS Super Social Saturday. Hi everyone, I'm Andrew Catalon. Aaron Taylor will join me in just a moment. The big question tonight, who will start at quarterback for Utah State? Our crew was here last week when a seemingly harmless 8-yard run in the first quarter completely changed the Aggies' season. Chucky Keeton came into the game against BYU, 2nd in the country in touchdown passes, but on this 3rd down play, the sold-out crowd goes silent. Keeton down in pain. He tore his ACL and MCL, and the heart and soul of the Aggies is now staring at an 8-month recovery. Keeton tweeted that night, "I want to thank everyone for their support. Small setback, but nothing will get in the way of this team from prospering." So it's either Craig Harrison or true freshman Darryl Garrettson at quarterback tonight. We still don't know as I bring in Aaron Taylor. And Aaron, a lot of people are now writing off this Utah State team. Can they succeed without Chucky Keeton?
They can, but they're going to have to fill the vacuum of leadership and talent that Chucky Keeton left behind. And they'd be wise to do so because the bottom line is this. The winner of tonight's game controls their own destiny for the Mountain West Conference Championship, particularly in this division. For Boise State, who already has a conference loss to Fresno State out of the West, they have to be able to win, because if they don't, that'll give the Aggies a 2-game lead, and that will certainly be helpful down the stretch.
Utah State needs guys to step up. Who are you looking at in our Geico difference makers?
Well, you got to put it on the big offensive linemen, of course, right? Those are the guys that got to step up, and they need to be able to create room for Joey DiMartino. I think Utah State needs to be able to run the football, take it out of the quarterback's hands, and on the other side of the football, they need their defense to step up, and Kyler Fackrell's been absolutely amazing this year. He's disruptive. They need him to be able to continue to play at a very high level and create some turnovers.
And that's because Boise State's offense has really hit its stride over the last 4 games. They're averaging 51 points. And as we take a look at our LG eye vision, Aaron, they can beat you in a variety of ways.
Yes, they can. You have to be on point when you play Boise. The first thing you need to know is they run their offense at a high tempo. That means you have to be lined up right, because if you don't, they'll simply run it where you weren't. They'll make you pay for it. You have to be able to stick with their tempo, but you also have to be disciplined with your eyes. Look at this, man. They got offensive linemen on the line of scrimmage. Got guys running around when the ball's getting snapped, peeking in the backfield, thinking it's going to be a bubble screen. And when that happens, woo-woo, number 17, Geraldo Boldevine will hit you on a skinny post for a 42-yard touchdown. To stop this Boise offense, you got to be aligned right and assigned tight.
This guy knows. As we mentioned earlier, it's CBS Super Social Saturday. Throughout the night, we'll be engaging with you, the fans, on social media. Lauren Gardner will be tweeting from the sidelines. And Lauren, what else can we expect tonight?
Oh, Andrew, we have a lot in store for tonight's broadcast, as Super Social Saturday has been taking place across the board here at CBS. And now it's your turn at home to get in on the action. Share your thoughts and photos on Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook using the hashtag CBS Super Social. And we also have a special treat for you here tonight, as a few of our alumni will be joining the conversation. Former Aggie star cornerback Willie D, now with the Miami Dolphins, will be answering your questions in the first half, and in the second half, former Broncos linebacker Daryl Akery will join the conversation at #AskDaryl. And guys, if that wasn't enough, Aaron, tell us about this Facebook poll going on tonight.
Yeah, we have our Super Social Saturday Facebook poll for tonight's game, which means that throughout the game, you guys got to be sure to go to facebook.com/CBS Sports Network and vote on the following questions. With just 2 minutes left in a tie game, which current Mountain West quarterback would you want on the field to take you down the field, get to the promised land, and put some points up on the board? You wanted Boise State's Joe Southwick, Derek Carr from Fresno State, Cody Fajardo, David Fales, or Brett Smith? Those are some pretty good choices, Andrew.
And you just saw Fales at a monster game right here on CBS Sports Network. On the Boise State sideline, Chris Peterson now in his 8th season, an incredible 87-10 record. And he's developed a nice friendship with the man on the other sideline, Matt Wells, in his first year as Utah State head coach, off to a 3-3 start. Taking a look at our Allegra weather, it is a beautiful late afternoon, early evening in northern Utah. Calm wind, temperature right at 59 degrees. It's football weather in Logan at Romney Stadium. And it's time for the opening kickoff, brought to you by Bud Light. Here we go. Utah State won the coin toss. They have deferred. So Boise State will start with the ball in this key Mountain Division battle in the Mountain West. Boise State tackled short of the 20-yard line. On the return, that was Dallas Burrows. So that'll bring out Joe Southwick, the senior quarterback, has completed 73% of his passes in our Sonic profile. He's 3rd in the country in completion percentage, 9 touchdowns, 3 interceptions on the season.
Joe Southwick had big shoes to fill with Kellen Moore as a quarterback, but I tell you what, the coaches say he's as smart of a coach as they have on the team. He understands the offense almost better than they do, which is why he's completed 73% of his passes so far.
Boise State has won 48 straight games in the month of October. They haven't lost since 2001. First pass is complete to Williams Rhodes, but the Utah State defense not fooled. As we take a look at tonight's Rent-A-Center starting lineups, Charles Leno Jr., the left tackle, his 32nd straight start, longest consecutive streak on the team, and Jay Ajayi, 8 rushing touchdowns. That's tied for 5th in the country. On second down, right back to Williams Rhodes, and right there is Rashard Stewart.
Great job by Rashad Stewart that time. Utah State is being very aggressive on these first 2 plays with their corners. They know that Boise likes to run a lot of bubble screens, so the way to defeat that is be aggressive out on the perimeter. But you got to be careful. You don't want to give up big plays over the top, because Boise will know that.
3rd and 16 for Boise State, 53% on the season on 3rd downs. Southwick out of the shotgun. With 5 on the play clock, he takes the snap. Scrambling left, puts it down. He's going to run across the 15, and nothing doing there. It's Stewart again. Rashard Stewart had a sack last week against BYU, his first of the season. He makes a couple of big plays, and Boise State goes 3 and out.
That's exactly the way you want to start if you're this Utah State defense. Remember, last week they played pretty well. The only thing that they struggled with was giving up big plays up over the top. If they can keep that up tonight, they're going to be very, very happy with themselves. That's a great way to get some confidence against a pretty good offense here at home.
Broncos use 2 different punters. This is senior Trevor Harmon, averaging 43 yards on the year. Bruce Natson back deep for the Aggies, all the way back to his 25. Trying to run across the field. Penalty flag. That'll be a block from behind on the Aggies. And Natson is tackled at the 25 after a 59-yard boot from Harmon.
Yeah, you saw that coming from a mile away. You got to be smart when you're playing this game of football. It's early in the game. You want to be able to make a play, but you can't hurt yourself.
Referee tonight is Jim Farmer.
Illegal block in the back. Number 4 on the receiving team. 10-yard penalty. First down.
That's Tay Glover Wright, the guilty party on special teams for the Aggies. As we
Stay over the ball.
take a look at our Sonic profile for Craig Harrison. He will get the start. This is his first career start. There was some debate all week. Who would it be? Matt Wells did not announce a starter until right now, and Harrison came out to take the field for the Aggies. 1st and 10 from the 11-yard line. Joey DiMartino with the first carry of the day across the 15 and tackled at the 17. Well, center Tyler Larson grabbing attention of NFL scouts around the country. His brother Cody is on the Ravens practice squad. And look at tight end for DJ Tialavea, career-high 4 catches last week. He continues to grow in this Utah State passing game. A 6-yard pickup on first down. It's 2nd and 4. Harrison throwing. Natson wrapped up for a loss. And that's Corey Bell to make the tackle.
Corey Bell's one of those players that does a great job. Here he is coming down. When you run the bubble screen, you have to be able to keep outside leverage and break on the ball. He did a great job of planting his foot in the ground and driving forward to create the lost yardage play.
Bell played his high school ball in Boise at Capital High School, and now Utah State facing 3rd and 7. Harrison has time, fakes once, chased from behind, and he's brought down from behind. DeMarcus Lawrence with the sack for Boise State. Harrison nearly lost the football. For Lawrence, that's his 3rd sack of the season.
DeMarcus Lawrence is right here on the football right here. Great job, great high energy motor to be able to chase the quarterback. Does a good job of dipping his shoulder, but staying alive. As a defensive lineman, you can't give up on the play. Credit the Boise State back end and their defensive backs for giving old number 8 another sack.
Jaron Bentrude to punt it out of his own end zone. And a fair catch called for by Williams Rhodes, just shy of midfield. Joe Southwick went 3 and out on his first possession. How will Southwick do when he returns to the field in Logan?
College football on CBS Sports Network is brought to you by Lowe's. Lowe's, never stop improving. By Verizon, never be without football. Call Star NFL to download NFL Mobile from Verizon. And by Enterprise Rent-A-Car. Pick Enterprise. We'll pick you up.
Boise State 1-1 in the Mountain West. Utah State leads the Mountain Division at 2-0. A showdown here in Logan. We welcome you back to Romney Stadium with Aaron Taylor. I'm Andrew Catalon. Lauren Gardner down on the sideline. There was a holding penalty on that punt against Boise State, so the Broncos start 1st and 10 from their own 39-yard line. They stick to the ground on first down. Let's take a look at this Aggie defense. And for Utah State, Connor Williams missed a month due to a leg injury. Returned last week against BYU. He had a half sack. Redshirt freshman Nick Vigil makes his 2nd straight start, and Quentin Bird will start at cornerback tonight. Tay Glover Wright has been demoted. You'll still see him in nickel and dime packages. Just underway, first quarter, 2nd and 6 for the Broncos. Ajayi trying to get to midfield. He does, and he gets a Broncos first down. Quentin Bird on the tackle for the Aggies.
See that time, Boise State made an adjustment. They had a stack formation at the right side of the screen, which is the bottom of the TV screen. They checked out of that. They saw something that they liked from a number standpoint inside in the box.
Southwick throwing to the tight end Connor Peters, who gets right to the 40-yard line, dragged out by Kyler Fackrell. We called his name a lot last week, Aaron. I know you think very highly of the sophomore out of Mesa, Arizona.
Yeah, no question. You talk to scouts, too, and they're not supposed to watch underclassmen. Would say it's hard not to notice number 1 when you're watching their film.
Peters got 7, just his 3rd catch of the season. So 2nd down and 3. Ajayi trying to get around the left edge, gets the first down. So after going 3 and out on its first possession, the Broncos now have a couple of first downs on this drive.
I think if you're Boise, you know that you have to establish a run. That's something that's their bread and butter. Everything else comes off of that. And if you're Utah State defensively, they did an excellent job stopping BYU's offense that was based primarily in the run. It was their back end through the air that gave them problems. But right now, they got to figure out a way to have some first and second down success so they can get themselves off the field on third down.
Southwick goes out wide. Derek Thomas loses the snap. Thomas in midfield, and he is tackled at the 45-yard line. Nevin Lawson comes in to make the tackle after a 10-yard loss.
This is something that Boise State will do a lot of, but you have to be able to secure the ball. This isn't the only time that Boise State's put the football on the ground this year out of this formation. Center quarterback exchange or quarterback wildcat exchange or wild bronco in this case is of the utmost importance. That play hurt him.
Second down and 20. Southwick steps up over the middle. Pass is caught by Williams-Rhodes. There's a flag on the play. Brian Sweet made the tackle for Utah State after a 20-yard pickup. But let's see what the penalty is.
For Boise State must leave the game for one play. His helmet came off.
That's the right guard, Marcus Henry. It's one of the points of emphasis for safety this year. It's been for a while. If you lose your helmet, you have to come off the field.
Holding, defense number 3. That penalty is declined. Third down.
So Henry has to come out. The penalty is on Quentin Bird. And a big pickup for the Broncos. They get it all the way up to the 25-yard line with 8:37 to go in the first quarter. Ajayi straight up the gut and across the 20. What's funny, Aaron, is we spoke yesterday with defensive coordinator for Utah State, Todd Orlando, and he said that they didn't really spend much time during the week game planning the Boise State trick plays, but what they did do is say when we can expect to see it from the 40 to the 30 going in, and that's exactly where Boise State had the direct snap to Derek Thomas as a flag comes in.
False start, offense number 70. 5-yard penalty, remains second down.
Stephen Baggett, the guilty party there for the Broncos, and that'll back them up.
You'll see Boise State will rotate almost all of their players on the offensive line, the defensive line, the linebackers. Baggett been a backup. You also see 78 Charles Leno somewhere.
Southwick looking deep for Miller, and he overthrows him. Quentin Bird on the coverage for the Aggies.
Rare miscommunication there by Joe Southwick and Matt Miller. Those two have hooked up for a lot of pass catch combinations over the years, but right now it seems early on in this ball game, Boise State offensively, when they're throwing the football or going after number 3, Quentin Bird.
First incompletion of the night for Southwick. He had started 4 for 4, as we told you, 3rd in the country in completion percentage. First third down of this drive for the Broncos. It's 3rd and 9. Southwick right back to the same spot, and there's a penalty flag on the play. He was looking for Miller again. Bird was on the coverage.
Boise State offensively sees something they like going after number 3. Matt Miller's 6'3", Quentin Bird's only 5'10". That's got to be part of it.
Holding defense against an eligible receiver. That is a 10-yard penalty and an automatic first down.
Huge call on 3rd down against the Aggie defense.
This ball's in the air. You have to turn into a wide receiver. Pretty tough there to see that left hand right there by Bird, knocking away his right hand there. There's a lot of contact, and Matt Miller had that ball in his hands. Got to come down with it.
Boise State, Williams-Rhodes got speed and inside the 5-yard line. Shane Williams-Rhodes, Chris Peterson calls this guy lightning in a bottle. He's only 5'6" and 157 pounds, but he's one of the fastest guys on the field.
Yeah, and one of his idols is Percy Harvin, and you can absolutely see why. He's got that speed to be able to test you on the perimeter. Prior to that, Boise State was running north and south inside the tackles, but they can also very much hurt you on the edge.
6th carry of the season for the wide receiver. He's the motion man here. Ajayi up the gut and in. Touchdown, Boise State. 9th rushing touchdown of the season for Jay Ajayi.
Boise just getting in that wildcat formation. They run that fly sweep with Williams-Rhodes, who had just hurt him on the perimeter before. That gets the guys just out of position. And then they essentially run it where they aim.
Dan Goodale with the extra point for Boise State, and that is an impressive drive for the Broncos. It was aided by a couple of penalties, but Jay Ajayi, tied for 5th in the country in rushing touchdowns, puts another one on the board. His 9th of the year, 7-0 Boise.
Nothing Boise State over Utah State, and that was Jay Ajayi, the leading rusher for the Broncos, in for his 9th rushing TD of the season, with a lot of success this season, but a little bit of trouble with ball security as he fumbled 3 times in back-to-back conference games last month. And offensive coordinator Robert Prince told us nobody felt worse about those 2 fumbles than Ajayi himself. He's been carrying the ball around all throughout practice and using this apparatus in between drills. It wraps around the football, and basically you pull on it to make sure it can't get stripped. Andrew, it works pretty well. We tried it yesterday.
Yeah, we did, Lauren. I tried to rip it away from you and ended up hitting myself in the face. That's why I don't play football. Ajayi with 3 fumbles on the season, lost 2, was benched for a portion of the game against Fresno State, the 41-40 loss. As we take a look at tonight's Acura keys to success.
Well, for the last 5 years, Boise State's been among the best at protecting the quarterback, but so far this year, they've already got 9 sacks. And defensively, Utah State played pretty well, but they've got to be able to get themselves off the field, not give up big plays through the air. When Utah State has the ball, they have to finish drives. They played really well between the 30s last week, but too many of their drives stalled. They got to get that figured out. And then defensively for Boise State, 113th in the country on 3rd downs. They have to get that fixed.
Opponents 48% against Boise State on 3rd downs, as Joey DiMartino on 1st down. 2nd possession for the Aggies. They went 3 and out to start.
Yeah, they got 6 yards on 1st down on that first series, and then they ran a bubble screen, which is to be expected. It's a high percentage pass, but it was a lost yardage play, which forced them to throw on 3rd down, and that's when the sack happened. To get the run game established, you got to get into a rhythm. I would like to see the Aggies run it consistently several downs in a row.
Harrison throws to Reynolds, caught at the 34-yard line. Darian Thompson on the stop for Boise State. As we take a look at the Broncos starting lineup on defense, you already saw DeMarcus Lawrence with a sack, now 12.5 sacks in his career. Redshirt freshman Ben Weaver, one of the biggest surprises for Boise State on defense. He leads the team in tackles, and Douglas and Thompson with 3 picks each. Boise State as a team has 8 interceptions. That's tied for 15th in the country. 3rd down and 1. DiMartino up the gut, and he was knocked back. Blake Reno stuffing DiMartino.
Yes, he did. The 6'2", 243-pound junior from Concord De La Salle High School, go Spartans, fills the hole like you should as a middle linebacker on 3rd and short.
There's Aaron's annual, or weekly, I should say, De La Salle mention, his alma mater. But a big play by Reno, and Utah State will have to punt for the 2nd time in this quarter. 2nd 3 and out for the Aggies. Williams-Rhodes back deep for Boise State. Ben Trude angles this one towards the Utah State sideline, takes a Boise State bounce, and it's downed at the 38-yard line by Jake Dowdy. Just a 29-yard punt.
Adam Zucker in New York. Penn State down 7. Final minute to Michigan. Christian Hackenberg airing it out. Allen Robinson going up to get it inside the 1. Hackenberg then gets the first rushing touchdown allowed by Michigan all year. They tie it up at home. Back to you, Andrew and Aaron.
Michigan has not defeated Penn State since 2007, lost their last 3 games against the Nittany Lions. How about that get up today?
Love it. Boise State fans, it's about a 4.5, 5-hour drive from Boise, Idaho to here in Logan, Utah. And the Boise faithful showing up.
1st and 10 for the Broncos at their own 38-yard line. Southwick play action. Throws on the run, looking for Williams Rhodes. Got it at the 30 and tackled inside the 25-yard line by Stewart. A 39-yard pickup, and that is the 4th catch of the night for the 5'6" Williams Rhodes.
Williams Rhodes, one of the things he does, he has tremendous speed. It's basically a pick route where they run a wheel route out of the backfield. Stewart had pretty good position on him, but Stewart's speed, or Williams Rhodes' speed, just took over. Big plays cost them last week against BYU, and through the air, that's their first of the night.
Southwick back to the air, and it's caught by Miller. Well, don't forget, Super Social Saturday continues today on CBS Sports. Tell us why you love college football using the hashtag CBS Super Social. Super hyper tempo to this offense for Boise State. Southwick scrambling on the run and just throws it away.
One of the things that Boise State does such a good job of is hitting the gas pedal, Andrew. It's amazing what they're able to do and how off balance they can keep defenses because of the speed and tempo that they run.
Boise State runs 86 plays a game, and Utah State 83 plays per game. It's a 3rd down and 5 for the Broncos, 0 for 1 tonight.
Some miscommunication where they're switching people around. When you see defensive back switch around, it indicates man coverage. If you're Boise, this is what you want. You got a shot up top.
Southwick off his back foot, and it's broken up. Quentin Bird got a hand in there for the Aggies.
Again, this Boise offense wanting to go after number 3, but you got to give credit to Utah State finding a way to get themselves off the field. Maybe a little bit early there, but the usually sure-handed Matt Miller's had a couple balls in his hands that he hadn't been able to come down with, but that was a good stop for Utah State, who, remember, their offense has gone 2 3 and outs. They haven't had very much rest for us, so for them to bow up down here in the red zone is huge.
Dan Goodale on for a 35-yard attempt, and it is good. Goodale now 7 out of 8 on the season, and the Boise State Broncos out to a 10-0 lead. Boise State has not lost a game in October since 2001. They raced out to a 10-0 lead on Utah State. Don't forget, CBS Super Social Saturday. Please follow us at all of our social media accounts all day long. She is tweeting as we speak. Whiteout in Logan. It's very close to a sellout. If they do sell out the stadium, it'll be the 3rd straight sellout at Romney Stadium. They've never had 3 straight sellouts in the history of football here at Utah State. And it is a gorgeous October evening. Goodale, after the 35-yard field goal, will kick it away. Glover right, and Travis Reynolds back deep for Utah State.
Big return would help spark this team that needs a little something positive to happen to them when they got the ball in their hands.
On our icy hot injury report, Utah State has just been devastated by injuries on the offensive side of the football. 3 starters all lost for the season. Joe Hill, Kyle Wimpy, and as we documented earlier, Chucky Keaton. They've combined for 52 career starts and 70 games played. And this Utah State offense has struggled so far tonight. In 2 drives, they have a total of 8 yards.
Yeah, and they've got 20 penalty yards. Kevin McGibbon, the offensive coordinator, has to be able to get something going on this drive. That's going to help their defense out, but they can't afford to get too far behind in this game where they've got to be able to throw the football.
DiMartino trying to get outside, nothing doing, and it's Weaver who slams him down. Ben Weaver, what a story for this Boise State offense. Started as a backup, but his play has earned him a starting spot, just a redshirt freshman.
Does a great job of taking scrape angles. You see him on the left side of his screen. Because of the penetration, DiMartino has to bounce the football, and Weaver's there waiting on him perfectly.
Harrison sets up the screen to Marshall, has a little bit of room. Marshall spins forward, and that's the first down of the night. Robert Marshall, a physical presence for the Aggies, gets 14.
That is huge for them to be able to do that. That moves the chains, that allows them to settle down, get themselves into the rhythm. But there's some great blocking on here. Keep your eye on the right guard, Jamie Markosian, number 54. Gets a block there, but then starts hunting up, gets a block there, and then gets downfield and was just snobber locking. We missed the best part, which was him putting it over. But again, these offenses move so fast, it's hard for everybody to keep up.
Love when you say slobber knocking. First down for Utah State. Harrison steps up and has some room. The quarterback into Bronco territory. And finally brought down by Ioane.
If you're Craig Harrison, you need that sort of play. When you take hits like that, it gives you confidence, it gets you settled down, and it puts you in your position of power. He's feeling it right now.
Pump fakes it, he is blindsided and sacked. Bo Martin came out of nowhere for the sack. That's his 3rd of the year.
He's feeling that one too, because Bo Martin from the bottom of your screen, I don't even know if he gets blocked here. It looks like he comes free. It's full turn protection. Either Craig Harrison has to get rid of that football, or there's got to be a back on that side to be able to pick up old number 53 there. That was a miscommunication of some sort, or the ball's got to get thrown right now.
2nd sack tonight for the Boise State defense. A 6-yard loss. And Marshall is tripped up. Lawrence there for the Broncos.
That's just an inside zone, and what the left tackle does is run through his shoulder. He goes unblocked, but because of Lawrence's speed, he was able to close that running lane down, bringing up a big 3rd and 15 after a couple positive plays. Utah State's going the wrong direction here.
0 for 2 tonight on 3rd downs. They face a 3rd and 16 with 2 minutes to go in the first quarter. Harrison looking deep down the sideline, and it is incomplete. But a late flag comes in. Brandon Swindle, the intended target. And Mercy Matson was the man covering Swindle.
Yeah, I saw Maston there, number 19. You wondered if that flag was going to come, because at the very end, he certainly was getting a little grabby.
Pass interference, offense, number 11. That penalty is declined. 4th down.
Wow, the crowd does not like that one. That goes against the Aggie offense and Swindle.
See Masson with his right hand up right there. But I tell you what, they both were doing a pretty aggressive job after going after that football. I think you could have easily gone with a no call there.
3rd penalty of the night on the Aggies, and they will be forced to punt for the 3rd time tonight. Ben Trude kicks it away to Williams Rhodes. He lets this one bounce, and it goes into the end zone for a touchback. And that'll bring the Boise State offense back out onto the field. Jay Ajayi already with a touchdown in this one, and so far tonight, Ajayi with 5 carries for 26 yards.
Well, Jay Ajayi is a north-south runner. He likes to put his foot in the ground and just get vertical, and as a running back, that's what you're supposed to do. He has had fumbling problems so far this year, so that's definitely going to be something to keep an eye on throughout the game, but so far so good for old 2-7.
Just a sophomore, he's had some great guys to learn from, and Doug Martin and DJ Harper, 2 phenomenal running backs for the Broncos.
Oh, the old muscle hamster. Love Doug Martin.
First and 10 for the Broncos, already with a 10-0 lead. Ajayi tripped up. Zach Vigil on the stop for the Aggies as we check in with Lauren Gardner.
And Andrew, speaking of Zach Vigil, Aggies linebacker coach Kevin Clune looking to his seniors in Zach Vigil and Jake Dowdy about what's breaking down in that run protection, especially in the A-gap. He said, guys, we're better than what we're showing out here tonight.
All right, Lauren, already in a 10-0 hole. This defense played well last week, although BYU with 31 points, some of those points not the responsibility of the defense. They really only had 2 breakdowns. So Southwick looks deep, and it's picked off. Nevin Lawson, his 2nd interception of the season, and a big play for the Aggie defense.
There was some late pressure there that may have forced Joe Southwick to throw the football a little higher with more air underneath it than he may have wanted to, because this is a jump ball situation, and Nevin Lawson, number 1, does a good job of going up and timing it, but the ball is underthrown. And Matt Miller kept going, and Southwick put some mustard on it. Might have been giving him a better shot to complete that ball instead of turning it over.
Lawson 5'10", Matt Miller is 6'3". Lawson goes up and gets it. First and 10 for Utah State. Marshall. Man, is he a physical guy. Nevin Lawson, his 4th career interception. He's making his 33rd consecutive start tonight. That's most of any player on the Utah State defense.
Yeah, and this team played USC earlier in the year, and against a healthy Marquise Lee, number 9, the guy that won the Biletnikoff Award last year. He had an excellent game. This is a very good quarterback that Utah State has, an old number 1.
He held Marquise Lee to just 6 catches in that USC win. 20 seconds to go in the first quarter. Harrison on the run, a little bit high. He was looking for Travis Reynolds.
And that's something that you saw Craig Harrison do a little bit last week. There were some throws that the coaches talked about him wanting to have back. And sometimes as a quarterback, particularly when you're running, it's hard to be able to have the accuracy and the location that you want. And when Harrison tends to miss, Andrew, he tends to miss high.
Last week when he came in for Keaton, he went 18 out of 41 for 185 yards and a touchdown. Big 3rd down and 8 right here. 0 for 3 tonight. Harrison chased out, throws, and just throws it away. Chungachu was coming, and so was Lawrence.
There were a lot of Boise State defenders. Kyrie Marshall was in on that. Pretty good protection at the start, but when he pulls it and has to go down, there's just too much pressure in his face. Defense's play on that was meet at the quarterback on 2, ready, break. And they got to the quarterback, but another failed 3rd down for this Aggie offense.
Williams Rhodes back deep. And this one goes into the end zone with 3 seconds remaining in the first quarter. And Aaron, you look at the battle in the trenches so far, and that Utah State offensive line's getting beat by Boise State, already giving up 2 sacks and pressure there on that last play.
There's no question. And Boise, conversely, on the other side, their offensive line is taking control. Boise State's doing a great job of keeping this Aggie defense off balance. Those first couple drives, they were running north-south, north-south, north-south. Then they came back and followed it up with a drive where they threw the football. Last week, all Utah State wanted to do was stop the run. That's what they were focused on. That's what they were doing. Tonight, they're having to defend both, and they're having issues.
Should be the last play of the first quarter. Broncos up 10-0. Ajayi is met and smacked. And leading the charge was Quentin Bird for Utah State, and that will end the first quarter. Boise State has a 10-0 lead on Utah State. You're watching college football on CBS Sports Network, the 24-hour home of CBS Sports. Start of the second quarter, Boise State out to a 10-0 lead on Utah State. As we've been telling you, today is Super Social Saturday on CBS Sports. Show us your team spirit. I mean, can you try to match those guys right there? Post photos to Twitter, Instagram, or Facebook using the hashtag CBS Super Social. Check back in the second half to see if your photo was chosen. Beautiful evening in Logan. And the hometown Aggie fans a little quiet right now as Boise State has jumped out to a 10-0 lead. Broncos with a 2nd and 11 to begin the second quarter. Alongside Aaron Taylor, I'm Andrew Catalon, Lauren Gardner down on the sideline, our entire CBS Sports Network crew. Miller could not come up with it on that quick slants. Quentin Bird on the coverage for Utah State.
Miller's a leading receiver on this team, and that's the 3rd time tonight he's had the ball in his hands that he hadn't come down with it.
4th straight incompletion for Southwick. 3rd down and 11. Southwick loads up, looking deep, and it is incomplete. Aaron Burks has a lot of speed, but good coverage downfield by Lawson.
Yeah, and good job by Brian Sweet, the strong safety, to come over there late and be able to help Lawson. Great job by this Utah State team, creating an opportunity for them to be able to get themselves off the field, not getting beat deep over the top, keeping their base defense on the field so that they don't give up any big plays, looking for the big return.
So Trevor Harmon back out to punt for Boise State, his 2nd of the night. Natson back deep. This is a short punt, and it goes out of bounds at the Boise State 46-yard line.
This is a situation in a game where your leaders have to step up and take control. In the past, that would be Chucky Keaton. We saw that game last week against BYU when he went down, Andrew. There was a vacuum that kind of fell over this entire team in the stadium. When you have an opportunity with the ball at midfield, you need your guys to be able to step up and make a play, my man.
They need a spark, no doubt about it. They spot the ball right at midfield. 1st and 10 for Craig Harrison and the Utah State offense at the 50. Harrison is 3 out of 6 tonight. They fake the fly sweep to Natson. Harrison has Reynolds over the middle, wide open at the 20. Reynolds cuts back to the 15, and he is dragged down at the 10-yard line by Brian Douglas. A 40-yard gain. How about that for a spark, AT?
That's exactly what it is they needed to have happen. Great job of play calling and execution. Here he is down here on the bottom of your screen. Whoa, sorry about that, but he takes the safety away and clears the space for Natson to be able to get in the hole right there with the corner and the safety out. Great read by Harrison, put the football where it needed to go.
1st and goal for the Aggies. DiMartino up the middle, down to the 2-yard line.
Yeah, you see offensive coordinator Kevin McGibbon fired up about his guys. Quick strike, sudden change, take advantage of it. But you got to settle down now. I'm getting excited too. You're in the red zone. The red zone production is about execution. Put it in the running back's hand. Let that offensive line take over.
Right back to DiMartino and in. Touchdown, Utah State. Fifth rushing touchdown of the season for the senior Joey DiMartino. And Tyler Larson, the center for Utah State, told us yesterday that anytime DiMartino scores a touchdown, he goes back to the sideline and he thanks his offensive line. He says, "Thanks, guys. Thanks for blocking for me." I said to Larson, I said, "What do you do when he says that?" He says, "Kind of weird. I sometimes say you're welcome, but I'm really just doing my job." That just shows you what kind of guy DiMartino is.
Thanks, guys. Hey, man, you got to love it. He's got gratitude. We talk all the time about people not being appreciative.
False start, offense, number 97, 5-yard penalty.
So they'll have to retry the point after.
It's Jordan Nielsen, defensive guys jumping off sides. Come on now.
Spoken like a true offensive lineman. Nick Diaz out to try it again for the Aggies, and it's good. A three-play, 56-second drive. It started with that big pass play. Harrison to Reynolds, and then some big-time running from Joey DiMartino. He says thanks. Aggies within 3.
Aggies within 3 as running back Joey DiMartino got the TD with his 5th rushing TD of the season. Now Martino having some issues with his right ankle. A previous sprain from earlier in the season, was on and off the training table throughout the first and second quarter 3 separate times. I spoke with trainers and they said that it's basically the tape that needed to be adjusted. And guys, it seemed like he found the right fit this time.
No doubt about it. Lauren DiMartino now with 18 yards rushing on the day, but that big 9-yard run on 1st and goal set up the short touchdown run for DiMartino, who again will be really counted on down the stretch of this season for Utah State. They lost Joe Hill to an ACL. He's out for the year, so DiMartino becomes the featured back.
That'll give that offensive line a ton of confidence. Prior to that drive, they hadn't played so well. They'll be feeling pretty good after that last one.
Burrows on the kick return as we take a look at our Napa inside the play, Napa know-how, and you never know what you're going to get with Boise State.
Yeah, they're always going to run some specials here. You see there's only one defensive lineman down on the ground. When the ball snapped, people still are moving. The guy that was over the ball doesn't even see it. But right here, Shane Williams-Rhodes has the football in his hands. Everybody's pointing to one direction, then it's chaos. You got guys looking this way, other guys looking the other way. Nobody knows what it is that's going on. Shane Williams-Rhodes, remember, he has the football in his hands. He's got a wall of Boise defenders in front of him. And down here in the red zone, one of the things that Boise will make you do and try and eat up part of your practice time is running those specials. And there may be none better than the old Fumblerooski.
Incredible play in their last game against Southern Miss. Gotta love the Fumblerooski. It's like backyard football where they draw these plays up. There was a holding call on the kick against Boise State, so they're backed up inside the 10-yard line. 1st down and 10. 13:38 to go in the first half. Williams-Rhodes trying to get him some space, and Lawson drags him out of bounds at the 16. For Williams-Rhodes, that's already his 5th catch of the night.
It's one of the things that the Broncos will make you do is defend the perimeter, the entire field, all 53 1/3 yards from sideline to sideline. They open the game with a couple bubbles, and they come back to it after being away from it for a while.
Ajayi trying to get to that 1st down marker. He's going to be very close. As today we celebrate being a fan with Super Social Saturday on CBS Sports. How do you celebrate? Tell us how using the hashtag CBS Super Social, and we will put the best fan tweet of the game on the air. Ajayi does move the sticks. 1st down and 10 for Boise State. Southwick, pass is incomplete. As we go back to New York, an update in our CBS Sports Network studio.
All right, Andrew, thank you. 80 miles away in Salt Lake, number 5 Stanford down 13 to Utah. Kevin Hogan to Devin Kajust. He caught it. Utah still up 6, though. Former Mountain West member, boys.
Yeah, not too far away, as you mentioned there, Adam. About an hour-and-a-half drive. Utah trying to hold on against Stanford. 2nd down and 10 for the Broncos. Ajayi on the draw, and he slipped, stayed on his feet, and is tackled at the 24-yard line. Jake Dowdy on the stop, the senior out of Draper, Utah.
That's what Boise likes to do, spread you out, make you defend the perimeter, and then run right at you up the gut. And Jay Ajayi is certainly very capable of doing that, showing some elusive moves in traffic there on that last run. Big 3rd down for Boise now.
Yeah, and neither team is converted tonight, Aaron, on 3rd downs. They're combined 0 for 8. Southwick's pass is caught for a first down. Aaron Burks.
Joe Southwick showing some moxie in the pocket. Utah State brought some pressure at him. A lot of crisscrossing guys coming green dog blitzes, but he finds the hole in the zone defense, puts it right on the numbers, and moves the chains.
Burks missed the last 2 games due to an undisclosed injury, but he's back out there and he moves the sticks with 12:05 to go in the second quarter. Ajayi running right. Dowdy wraps him up. Jake Dowdy averaging 10.7 tackles per game. That's 10th in the country. You look at this Utah State defense with Dowdy and Fackrell. They have some big-time linebackers.
Yeah, no question. Zach Vigil's a pretty good linebacker as well. Number 53, we've seen him do some things, but make no doubt about it, 51 is their emotional leader.
Southwick's pass is caught by the tight end Holden Huff. He is stopped short of a first down. A 5-yard pickup. Quentin Bird on the tackle. Just the second catch of the season for Holden Huff. He missed the last 3 games due to injury.
That was a big play for Boise. After being pretty much stuffed on first down, they have a third manageable. We talked about the importance of third downs and getting yourselves off the field. Well, here's an opportunity for the Aggies to do so.
And one other injury note for Boise State. Senior tight end Gabe Linehan did not make the trip. Missed the 2 prior games, out again tonight. Southwick gets rid of it, and it's caught by Huff. First down across midfield. Maurice Alexander dragged him out after an 11-yard gain.
Anytime you have 3rd and short and you see the offense run up to the line of scrimmage, you have to expect play action. This time they do a great job of just sneaking the tight end out the backside and hitting Holden Huff in stride. With the success that they've had running the football inside, that Aggie defense overreacted.
31st play of the game for Boise State here early in the second quarter. Southwick to Williams Rhodes to the 25 and pushed out by Lawson at the 22. 24-yard gain for Williams Rhodes, who has 6 catches tonight.
Doing a great job. Williams Rhodes is going to come up and then almost run like a big snag route out to the outside. It seems like there was a busted coverage. The safety runs with him, turns around, but then he's all there by himself. The safety never comes down to be able to help him and leaves Nevin Lawson the only guy to be able to bring him down.
Southwick's patience paid off there. They go right back to Williams Rhodes, and he is so tough to bring down. 5'6", lightning fast, 7th catch of the night for number 11.
When you have that much speed, it's imperative that you tackle well. And Utah State so far in this ball game has missed some big tackles, but you have to get number 11 down on the ground when you got a shot.
Ajayi tripped up. Brian Sweet makes the tackle as tonight's Red Zone is being brought to you by Verizon. Boise State 21 for 31 scoring touchdowns in the red zone. That's 67%.
Yeah, they've had some fumbles down there. Certainly against Fresno State, we saw that. When you get your scoring opportunities, you have to take advantage of it. Here they're in 10 personnel, 1 back, and decide to take a timeout. Didn't like what they saw.
Veteran move by Joe Southwick.
Timeout. Boise State. This is a 30-second timeout.
First timeout for either team. Well, in practice this week at Utah State, they were comparing Shane Williams Rhodes to one of their own players, Bruce Natson. Natson, number 9 for Utah State's 5'7", 151 pounds. Williams Rhodes, 5'6", 157 pounds. The little engines that can. They call Bruce Natson JoJo. That's his nickname. So all throughout practice at Utah State this week, defensively, when they were game planning against Williams Rhodes, they were saying, you got to get JoJo. You got to get JoJo.
I'm still trying to deal with the fact emotionally that both of those players combined weigh what I do.
I'm sorry, Aaron. That's being generous to you, actually, isn't it?
Yeah, well, that may explain why walking up these stairs in altitude is so hard up to the press box before the game.
Williams Rhodes has 7 catches for 97 yards.
Can't teach speed.
Direct snap again to Thomas. And Dowdy gets him from behind at the 7-yard line. Second time they've tried the direct snap to the junior out of Pittsburgh, Texas.
Yeah, that fly sweep puts a lot of pressure on those second-level defenders that want to get out to the perimeter and set that edge. And where it leaves you susceptible is going north-south, but here you are down in the red zone on third down. Can get the first down if you're Boise, but you're thinking points here.
Third down and 5. Southwick has time. Great job by the offensive line. Southwick into the end zone. Touchdown. Joe Southwick with his 3rd rushing touchdown of the season and a big assist to the O-line.
Great job. Maybe it was too good of an assist by the offensive line. There possibly was a holding call by the left tackle, Charles Leno, that didn't get called, that allowed Southwick to be able to break contain. But old number 16 is a little bit more mobile than people give him credit for.
No penalty flag on the play. That'll bring out Dan Goodale for the extra point. And the kick is good with 9:03 to go in the second quarter. Joe Southwick, the senior out of Danville, California. He's been hooking up with Williams Rhodes all night. They connected for a big play on that drive, a 91-yard drive. And Southwick also able to cap off the drive with his legs. Williams Rhodes and Southwick leading the Broncos out to a 17-7 lead. Boise State up by 10 on Utah State as we take a look back at that Joe Southwick touchdown.
Well, they may revoke my lifetime membership award to the offensive line club right here for calling out number 78, Charles Leno. But on that last play, you see trying to hold contain right there. He's holding. You see his hand. And just that little extra bit right there allows Southwick to get outside. It's the defensive end's job to be able to keep contained, and that time he couldn't because old 78 had his big old paws on.
Someone once told me, if you ain't holding, you ain't trying. I believe that was you, Aaron Taylor. The NCAA Football Challenge Campus Tour is making its way across the country with 32 stops. The tour has a video game area and football skills combine, allowing students the chance to qualify for the video game championship bracket and grand prize of $5,000, while everyone can test their football skills at the Enterprise Car Share Combine. Check out hashtag NCAA Football Tour on Twitter for more info. Utah State offense, you have to think they have some confidence after that last drive, getting on the board behind second-string quarterback Craig Harrison, who's now in control of this Aggie-O with Chucky Keaton out for the season.
What did they do here? They're only averaging 3 yards per carry. They're having some trouble getting things going on the ground.
DiMartino does not fool the Boise State defense. Chongachu on the stop for the Broncos.
Dante Dion, number 5, was in there as well. That was penetration. Penetration is the #1 offender of lost yardage plays or busted run plays. And that time, Boise State did a good job of shifting the line of scrimmage and getting penetration on that right side.
Marshall, Chongachu, and Reno stacking him up for a minimal gain on the play. Pickup of 2. And that'll bring up third down.
Boise State must lead the game for one play. His helmet came off.
So Reno will have to sit out.
Too many guys running free inside the box. Utah State has to get a hat on a hat and get their run fits and cover guys up, because it seems like Boise State's doing a good job of shedding their blockers.
The game clock to 8:22. 8:22.
Using their hands with extension and crossing faces. That's textbook play from that defensive line inside. Utah State's got to get that short up.
Thank you.
Utah State 0 for 4 tonight on third downs. They send 3 receivers to the bottom of your screen.
Anytime you run a bunch set, it has to be, for the most part, zone coverage.
Harrison looking the other way. It's caught for a first down to Travis Reynolds. Check that, number 18, Ronald Butler. on the catch. Maston makes the stop for Boise State after a 13-yard pickup.
Yeah, Ronald Butler's one of those type of players that's really starting to come on for him. Had a couple catches last week, one of which was a touchdown, and now he converts a big third down to be able to give the Aggies some confidence by moving the chains.
Just his 7th catch of the season. First time tonight that the Aggies have converted on third down. They play fake to DiMartino, and the pass is incomplete. Harrison was looking for Keegan Anderson.
Seems like when Craig Harrison has people in his face, his accuracy greatly diminishes, and that's of course why the defenses want to be able to go after you. But to have some success as a quarterback, you have to be able to stand in there, not throw off your back foot with the pressure around you and locate the football accurately.
DiMartino has some room up to midfield, and another Utah State first down, tackled by the safety Jeremy Ioane after a 12-yard pickup.
Well, we talked about Tyler Larson and scouts loving him. Keep your eyes on number 58, what he's able to do. Does a good job against number 40, Armand Nance, who's a big player. Back does a good job of just cutting off just inside of him.
Right back to DiMartino, and he gets to the 40-yard line. Brian Douglas makes the stop, but a penalty flag on the play.
Brian Douglas.
And it looks like this one is coming back.
Illegal low block, number 9 on the offense. 15-yard penalty. Remains first down.
Can a 5'7" receiver get called for an illegal low block?
Well, when you're 5'7", it's kind of hard to take guys up high.
That's on Bruce Natson, number 9, and he definitely with a low block there on the Boise State defender.
Yeah, you got to be north and south and cut guys vertically. You can't come in from the side and block a guy low. That's a killer, though, because now it puts you severely behind the chains. You got some momentum going, and now it puts the advantage and tilts the scales well in Boise's favor here.
First down and 25. Anderson in motion. DiMartino, check that, it's Marshall, and he gets close to midfield. Brought down by Tyler Gray after a 12-yard gain.
That time Utah State did a good job of being able to get the box counts that they want. There's only 6 in there, and that's exactly what it is you want. You see the big hole that they have, and he runs himself through it, and that's what it is you want. You get a big chunk, and now you're at 2nd and 12, which is much more manageable.
Marshall, a downhill physical runner. Harrison's pass is incomplete. He's looking for Natson on the play. And that'll bring up 3rd down and 12 for Utah State.
After big success on first down, you put yourself in a situation that Craig Harrison has to be able to find a way to get something done. Only completing about 50% of his balls so far tonight. This is a big 3rd down here in the middle of the 2nd quarter.
And he throws it behind Van Leeuwen and incomplete. Van Leeuwen was open, but Harrison missed him.
Again, it looked like there was a little bit of pressure there in the location of Craig Harrison when he's throwing the football. When he's under duress, isn't the best.
3rd straight incompletion for Craig Harrison. He's now 5 out of 11 on the evening. Jaron Bentrude comes on to punt for Utah State. Williams Rhodes, who's already had a big night, calls for a fair catch at the 11-yard line. That's where Boise State will take over when we come back to Romney Stadium.
Welcome back to Utah State. Lauren Gardner in the spot where the Aggies dedicated their field to the late Merlin Olsen in 2010. A Logan, Utah native and Aggie standout defensive tackle. Merlin Olsen went on to an illustrious career with the LA Rams as a 14-time Pro Bowler He also went on to be an NFL commentator after his career and starred in the hit series Little House on the Prairie. Now we want to hear from you at home. Tweet to #TheSpot your favorite memories of Merlin Olsen, and we may air them later on in tonight's broadcast. Guys, it's pretty high up here. How's the weather down there?
Yeah, you're way up there, almost as high as that Merlin Olsen statue, which stands 11 feet tall when you walk into Romney Stadium. Certainly a hero here in Logan. 6:17 to go, second quarter. Boise State up by 10. Ajayi is tripped up by Fackrell. Well, as part of our Super Social Saturday, former Utah State cornerback Will Davis, who's now a member of the Miami Dolphins, has been tweeting throughout the first half. Here's one of our favorites. Craziest fan moment was being jumped by an old woman on the field after beating Utah last year. If you have a question for Will, he's apparently answering anything and everything tonight. #Ask Will Davis, part of #CBS Super Social. #old woman.
I'm going to lay out on that one, man.
5:40 to go, first half. No gain on that play, and a penalty flag comes in.
See members from both teams clapping.
Delay of game. Defense. Disconcerting signals. 5-yard penalty.
You see that oftentimes when the defense will try and draw the offense off sides. You rarely see that called. Can't be happy if you're Todd Orlando. And that negates what was a really good play on first down by Kyler Fackrell.
5th penalty of the night against the Aggies. Boldevine makes the catch, and he's got some room to run as Vigil drags him down from behind, but a first down for Boise State. What a big target Boldevine is, 6'4", 220.
It's just on a quick slant. We talked about the importance of tackling in space. 1, 2, and it takes the third tackler, Zach Vigil, number 53, to finally come over there and get him down on the ground. Yards after the catch are a big part of this Boise offense, and Utah State just has to find a way to tackle better.
22-yard pickup for Boldevine, and we have a quick timeout on the field. Let's go back to our studio in New York.
Well, Andrew, you may have heard some cheering about 80 miles south of you. Stanford, 4th down, last chance at Utah. Nothing doing for Kevin Hogan. The Utes hold on 27-21. And in the 4th overtime in Happy Valley, Bill Belton wins it for Penn State over Michigan with a touchdown. We'll see you guys at halftime.
It's good stuff, Adam. What an upset there with Utah getting the best of Stanford on a wild, wacky Saturday in college football. 1st and 10 for the Broncos, and Southwick's pass is complete into Utah State territory, right back to Boldevine for 18.
Yeah, this time they brought a corner blitz from the top of the screen, and Boldevine just ran where he wasn't, but that's Rashard Stewart, number 6 there. He's a big player in that rotation on the back end, and they threw it exactly where he wasn't.
Williams Rhodes, 8th catch of the night, trying to get down the sideline, and Sweet brings him out. Williams Rhodes has now gone over 100 yards receiving in the first half for the Broncos.
That's about the 6th bubble screen that Boise has done. What that does is it gets the defense thinking perimeter, and right after that they come right back inside and try and gash it.
9-yard pickup, makes it 2nd and 1. Southwick fakes to Ajayi on the slant. His pass is dropped. Aaron Burks could not hold on to it.
Been several balls in the hands of receivers tonight for Boise State. And again, the Broncos trying to take advantage of inside leverage on the defense. You see Burks there. Throw was low at his knees, but certainly one he could have brought in.
3rd down and 1 for Boise State. They're at the Utah State 35-yard line, so it'd be about a 52-yard field goal if they're stopped. Ajayi is not stopped, still on his feet. Jay Ajayi Still going inside the 20. Nick Vigil finally caught up to him after a nifty 19-yard gain.
Well, again, they fake the fly sweep across the line of scrimmage to Boldevine. That pulls everybody out there, but just a huge hole. 2 huge missed tackles by the Aggie defense. Maybe 4, 5, 6. The Aggies just aren't getting the ball carriers down on the ground.
Longest run of the day for Ajayi. And Boise State picking up the tempo on offense. Ajayi slips that time. Boise State will run its 43rd play of this first half. They average 86 a game. They had a season-high 100 plays in the loss at Fresno State.
Yeah, that's that tempo they talk about. And I'm sure Ajayi was pretty tired after that last play. He just didn't have any gas, so they made a substitution here and have Jack Fields on the field in his place.
Aaron Baltazar, a key contributor at running back for Boise State, out for the season. Fields steps up, and Southwick goes down. B.J. Larson with his first sack of the season.
Great job by B.J. Larson that time, just beating the right tackle right out of his stance. You see him at the top of your screen here. He's just going to come around and stick with it. We saw DeMarcus Lawrence for Boise State not give up on the play, but uses the hand slap, then the rip, and just gets up inside and comes from the backside, forcing a big loss.
Played right down the road at Logan High School. A member of the Grizzlies had 4 sacks last year. 3rd down and 17 for Boise State. Southwick looking deep, and it's caught. Touchdown, Broncos. Aaron Burks. 2nd touchdown of the season for Aaron Burks. And Boise State jumps out to a 23-7 lead.
Aaron Burks at the top of your screen right there just runs a skinny post, just soft coverage. Safety's late getting over, and it's a perfect touchdown. It's Tay Glover Wright, number 4.
We mentioned Glover Wright earlier. He was the starter at cornerback until this game when the defensive coordinator, Todd Orlando, didn't think that Glover Wright had been playing so well over the last few games. In fact, he specifically said that when he has a bad play, Glover Wright can't put it behind him. So he was demoted for this game to just nickel and dime packages. Southwick finds him. Burks in the end zone.
To play cornerback effectively, you have to have a short-term memory.
A 23-yard connection. Southwick to Burks. Boise State up 24-7.
Adam Zucker in New York. Coming up on the Verizon Halftime Report, the latest from a crazy day in college football as 7 top 20 teams go down, including number 5 Stanford and number 7 Georgia, who fell to a Missouri team that stays undefeated as the Tigers begin their SEC gauntlet. Plus, Texas crushes Oklahoma in the Red River rivalry. Now back to Andrew and Aaron in Logan.
All right, Adam, thank you very much. 3:04 to go second quarter. Boise State out to a 24-7 lead after that last scoring drive. 9 plays, 89 yards, and Joe Southwick, 16 out of 24 now in the game for 207 yards, a touchdown, and an interception. Glover Wright will let that one go, and it'll be a touchback. Utah State will start at the 25-yard line. Well, it's CBS Super Social Saturday. We're at Romney Stadium in Logan, Utah for a Mountain West showdown. Andrew Catalan with former Notre Dame All-American Aaron Taylor and Lauren Gardner down on the sideline. Make sure to join the conversation. We're on Twitter tonight at hashtag CBS Super Social. So Utah State with all 3 timeouts and 3:04 on the clock before halftime.
I think it's imperative that Utah State finds a way to be able to get points on the board. They ran a screen with some success earlier. They've got to be able to mix up their play calling, work the clock, and make sure they don't shoot themselves in the foot.
Harrison to Natson. And he finds a hole, gets across the 35 to the 37-yard line before Darian Thompson makes the tackle.
That's a pretty good start to that drive. You don't have to get into a 2-minute situation where you're going hurry up. Remember, this Utah State Aggie team has about 4 different tempos they can run offensively. But with as good as Boise is offensively, you don't want to leave them too much time if you score. So a nice steady pace is the way to go here.
Marshall picks up a couple before DeMarcus Lawrence makes the stop, but a penalty flag comes in.
Personal foul, face mask, defense number 8. 15-yard penalty from the end of the run, automatic first down.
That's DeMarcus Lawrence, the redshirt junior out of Aiken, South Carolina. Just trying to make a play. You see his hand right there on the face mask. The officials make a good call. I don't know, that was maybe a little ticky-tack there, but regardless, another big break for Utah State that's got the ball at midfield. This is exactly how they wanted to start this drive.
Harrison lofts one down the sideline, and it's caught. Was he in? Reynolds makes the catch.
It absolutely looked like he was in to me. Beautiful job. Behind the safety, or excuse me, behind the corner in front of the safety. From that slot number 2 position. He gets that right foot down.
The ruling on the field is the pass is complete. That ruling is under further review.
So they're going to take another look at this one. The replay official tonight is Gary Brown. If it stands, Reynolds will pick up 26 on the play. That's a beautiful ball from Craig Harrison.
Dropped it right where he had to. You see his right foot's in there. Does he have control of the football? Absolutely, that's a catch. The officials were right on top of it. Great call.
Harrison, if it stands again, 7 out of 13 for 105 yards. How would you evaluate Harrison at this point, his first career collegiate start?
I think he's doing a pretty decent job. He certainly missed some throws, which was the issue last week, but his job is to distribute the football and not make mistakes. He's yet to have a turnover in these games.
After further review, the ruling on the field is confirmed. The pass is complete.
Third catch of the night for Travis Reynolds, the senior out of Lauderdale Lakes, Florida. And Matt Wells highlighted him in our meetings yesterday, saying that Reynolds has really played well of late. 1st and 10 for Utah State at the 21-yard line. They still have all 3 timeouts and 2:09 to go. Marshall trying to get the edge, and he doesn't. He's thrown back. Corey Bell chasing down Marshall behind the line of scrimmage.
Penetration on the right side of that defensive line is exactly what it is you want to see. See number 40, Armand Nance, and number 48, Kyrie Marshall, darting through that offensive line. It changes the angle and makes the back redirect, and it's just so hard to be able to find running room when that happens.
That backs up the Aggies, a 6-yard loss. Inside 90 seconds to go. Harrison flushed out by Lawrence. Harrison's going to keep it to the 20, and he slides down at the 16-yard line. Ben Weaver came over to make sure Harrison would get down after an 11-yard gain.
That's a great pickup after the big lost yardage play. If you're Utah State and you're running the football, you can't afford to lose 5 or 6 yards running the football.
Timeout. Utah State.
Matt Wells waited
timeout.
just a minute before calling that timeout, but he's got all 3. He stops the clock with 1:06 to go.
So far in this first half, that Utah State offensive line has struggled, and they did a pretty good job last week against a salty defense in BYU, but it's really been Boise State, particularly their defensive line, those 3 and/or 4 guys that they've been down there. The big sack by DeMarcus Lawrence when they were throwing the football, but their ability to get penetration and stop the run has been huge. And then, of course, the other big sack by Bo Martin coming off that other side, whether that was miscommunication or not. That Boise State defense led by Pete Kwiatkowski has showed up tonight and done a pretty good job stopping this offense.
And Aaron, an interesting stat that we discussed at length throughout the week, 4 of the top 5 tacklers on the Boise State defense are defensive linemen. You don't see that very often. Now, Boise State does rotate its backers a lot, which could contribute to that fact, but at the same time, they've got a lot of talented guys on the line that you just highlighted.
Yeah, no question. They use their hands well. They disengage and shed their blockers as well as anybody in the country.
And that pass is broken up on 3rd down by Dante Dion. Big play for the Boise State defense on 3rd down, and Matt Wells has to send out the field goal unit.
And remember, we talked about one of the keys for this game was going to be not only 3rd downs for Boise, but their red zone defense. They're 113th in red zone defense coming into this game. This is a big stop for them to be able to force the field goal.
33-yard attempt for Nick Diaz. He's 7 out of 9 on the season. And this one is good. So Utah State pulls within 14. It's 24-10 with 57 seconds to go, and Boise State has 2 timeouts remaining. Time now to take a look at our Phillips 66 Mountain West Athlete of the Week. It's Derek Carr. What a season he is putting up for the Bulldogs, who are ranked 21st in the country. 5-0 start this season. Fresno State with a bye this week. But Derek Carr has certainly established himself as one of the top quarterbacks in this league.
No question. He's a nice, mature kid, comes from good stock. Certainly the tutelage of his older brother David certainly has helped. When you spend some time with Derek Carr, you get that this kid's special. He's married. He's got a baby on the way that happened just before the season started. So when you talk about somebody that has next level potential and is in a position to have his team not only win the Mountain West Conference, but maybe be a dark horse for a BCS Buster, Derek Carr is going to be a big reason why.
Burrows from his goal line trying to get outside, and he doesn't get there. Cameron Sanders with the tackle on special teams for Utah State. Well, it's been really a interesting year at quarterback in the Mountain West this season. The quarterback shuffle, you can see here, 5 teams now do not have their game 1 starter.
Well, you look at Air Force, man, they were on their 5th quarterback. I think I got a call from Coach Calhoun to see if I could run the option a little bit for him. But I think what we're seeing in college football, it's not about our 11 on your 11. It's our 17 or 18 on each side of the ball against your 17 or 18. We saw Georgia lose to Missouri today because they were just too banged up on both sides of the football. So depth is a real issue, and I think the Mountain West Conference certainly has gotten tested early on in this season at the quarterback position.
And Aaron, are you surprised here with 2 timeouts and 45 seconds to go? Chris Peterson decides to take a knee and run out the clock.
Maybe, but with a 14-point lead in your offense, why take any chances? If you have a fumbled snap or something down here in the red zone, they could get a cheap, easy score. I think you feel like your team's in command, better be safe than sorry in that situation.
Keep in mind, Utah State gets the ball to start the second half. So Peterson will run into the locker room with a 24-10 lead on Utah State, but hold on.
Timeout, Utah State.
Matt Wells uses a timeout with 23 seconds to go, and after 2 knees, it's 3rd down.
I'll tell you what, as a former...
Utah State has 1 timeout remaining.
As a former quarterback here, Matt Wells is certainly maybe having a little gamesmanship, maybe hopefully trying to get a bobbled snap or a center quarterback exchange that doesn't go the right way. Certainly not going to win him any friends here. Everybody in the stadium, including his own players, thought that they were going to run into the halftime, look to make some adjustments.
So it's 3rd down and 13. Matt Wells does have 1 timeout remaining.
I guarantee you Boise is going to take a shot over the top right now.
They give it to Ajayi up the middle. Matt Wells will use that final timeout with 18 seconds left. And that should force Boise State to punt.
Utah State, that is their third and final timeout. This is a 30-second timeout.
Matt Wells, the 11th youngest coach in FBS, just 40 years old, his first time as a head coach, and he told us that he's really relied on Chris Peterson for some advice as to how to make it as a head coach. Peterson's next piece of advice might be, hey, when I take a knee, don't call timeout.
Well, I actually like this. He is giving his team a chance to be able to get the ball back. Now, it may seem ticky-tack on the other side of the football, but there's a lot of things that can go wrong if the punt snap is over their head and goes out of the end zone. I mean, there's a lot of things. You can get a big return here, but I think the message it sends to his Aggie team is, hey, if there's time on the clock, we're going to make an effort to win. This is about, I think, Matt Wells trying to make a statement for his team.
And it's blocked! Utah State blocks the punt. It goes out of bounds at the 11-yard line. Devin Centers got a hand it.
Pressure up the middle, uncontested. That's the exact reason why Matt Wells called that timeout, and he looks like a genius because it was beautiful execution and a great job by Devin Centers, the cornerback, of giving Utah State a chance to get some more points on the board. You have to throw this ball into the end zone. You cannot afford to get tackled. Even though there is 2 yards between the 2-yard line and the goal line, you can get a first down.
Harrison going end zone, and it is incomplete. Swindle could not bring it in. Brian Douglas on the coverage with 8 seconds to go and no timeouts. Time for one more shot to the end zone.
No question. Excellent job by that right hand by Brian Douglas to disengage the football from Swindle's hands. Great play one-on-one out on the edge by the redshirt junior.
They're looking for the linebacker, Kyler Fackrell, in the end zone, and he can't bring it in. They have a red zone package for the sophomore linebacker. He's caught 1 touchdown this year, could not reel that one in. Again, Douglas there for the Broncos, and now Matt Wells will send out the field goal unit.
Yeah, no mystery there. Brian Douglas is 5'9", and Kyler Fackrell 6'5". That's the height advantage you want in a one-on-one situation. But the testy Douglas is there again to break up another pass. And Utah State going to make a field goal try.
So Nick Diaz comes on for a 29-yard attempt. Already 1 for 1 tonight. And it's blocked by Boise State. How about that? Boise State blocked 2 kicks in their last game against Southern Miss, and they get another one here to hold Utah State scoreless after they blocked a punt. And how about that for a final 30 seconds of a half?
And it looks like Boise State was trying to send a message of their own. Just can't make up for those missed opportunities. But it just goes to show you 2 teams that are well coached that play to the whistle, because in football, you never know what happens.
Let's go down to the field. Lauren Gardner is with Chris Peterson.
Well, Coach, a wild conclusion to this first half there. What are your thoughts on Matt Wells calling that timeout?
That's on me. That's bad coaching on my part. We got to be more aggressive at all times, and it's good play by their part.
Over 200 yards passing for your offense. What have you been able to exploit in this Aggies D?
Well, I think Joe's throwing the ball accurately. We're giving him time. The offensive line's doing a good job. And, you know, they got a good defense. We just got to be smart, take our chances when we have them, and be efficient.
Thanks, Coach.
Now you love seeing that honesty from Chris Peterson. He runs off with a 24-10 halftime lead. After the break, we'll send you back to our CBS Sports Network studio in New York for the Verizon halftime report. You're watching college football on CBS Sports Network, the 24-hour home of CBS Sports. Third straight sellout at Romney Stadium. We're high atop Romney Stadium. Start of the third quarter between Boise State and Utah State. The Broncos have a 14-point lead with Aaron Taylor. I'm Andrew Catalon. How about that end of the first half, my friend?
That was some craziness. Clock management and situational awareness is paramount, but so is playing to the whistle. Two great big plays by special teams on both those teams to end the first half.
Joe Southwick with one passing touchdown in that first half. Let's take a look at it in our CBS eye vision.
Yeah, he's going to hit Aaron Burks, who's got a little bit of a cushion on the cornerback. Tay Glover right, number 4, and the safety, Brian Sweet, is just a little bit late getting over. And we talked about the accuracy of Joe Southwick. That is a perfectly located football to give them the 24-7 lead there in the second quarter.
All right, let's take a look at our Lowe's game improvements for both teams in the second half.
Boise State's playing pretty well offensively, but I think they need to be able to establish the run better, averaging less than 3 yards per carry. Late in this game with this lead, they're going to want to bleed that clock. And hey, the second one's obvious. Don't take a knee when Utah State has 2 timeouts. And for Utah State, they've got to string some drives together, string some plays together. They're only 1 for 7 on third down. They've got to do a better job there. And defensively, the bottom line is they're going to have to be able to create some extra opportunities for their offense.
Lowe's never stop improving. Utah State won the opening coin toss. They deferred, so the Aggies will get the ball to start the second half. 24 first half points allowed by Utah State, most allowed since Hawaii had 28 2 years ago, a span of 26 games. As we check in with Lauren Gardner.
Well, Andrew, I spoke to a bit of an exasperated Matt Wells at the half, who told his team we have to stay in it after that emotional ending to the first half. And he also said we have to get off the field on defense and an offense with just 2.9 yards per carry. We need to establish our run game. When I asked him about Craig Harrison's first start, his impressions were he did okay. He was a bit up and down.
7 out of 16, Lauren, for 105 yards. No touchdowns, but no interceptions for Harrison in this his first career collegiate start. Underway in the second half. Harrison will throw on first down. And his pass is incomplete. Looking for Travis Van Leeuwen. Take a look at some of the numbers from the first half. 207 yards passing for Boise State. And 4 out of 4 in the red zone for the Broncos. Williams Rhodes with a career high 106 yards receiving in the first half. His career high in catches is 9. He's 1 away. Harrison has missed his last 4 passes. They go to the ground on second down, and Joey DiMartino is stopped by Ioane.
All the coaches I've played for talked about the importance of the last 5 minutes of the first half and the first 5 minutes of the second half. Utah State has an opportunity to get something done here. That play was there on first down, but Craig Harrison just threw it off target. It could have been complete. They run again, they get stuffed, and brings up a big 3rd and long. Consistency and stringing drives together is what they needed to do, and they're not doing it.
1 for 7 tonight on third downs. Harrison with the play fake. Trying to get outside. Lawrence chasing him. Harrison beats Lawrence, but comes up short of the first down.
Not the way you want to start that drive off, but again, it's that consistency. This team, I mean, Craig Harrison's doing a good job of protecting the football, but DeMarcus Lawrence off the right side, fighting off the block, and it was that pressure with him on the run. Makes a great decision by not throwing it, but the Aggies are forced to punt nonetheless.
Bentrude comes on. His long was 47 in the first half. And Williams Rhodes, very dangerous, back deep for Boise State. Good snap. And Williams Rhodes calls for a fair catch at the 31-yard line, a 41-yard punt. Let's take another look at our CBS eye vision.
Well, we talked about Joe Southwick and his ability to be able to throw the football. There, the safety, number 21, Brian Sweet, comes off of him, and it leaves Shane Williams Rhodes wide open. Maybe a busted coverage there, but another big pass and breakdown on the back end by Utah State. This front 7 for them is pretty dang good, but they've got to be able to play more stout on that back end.
There's Charles Leno Jr., the left tackle. He's the man that blocked the field goal at the end of the first half, and he's got some big, long arms.
Big hands, too. His hands been busy tonight.
Williams Rhodes ties a career high. That's his 9th catch, and he gets across the 40 before he's brought down by Jake Dowdy.
When you throw the football like this, it essentially equals a sweep. It puts the football in your playmaker's hands out on the perimeter. That's exactly what it is you want to do, but good job that time by Utah State pursuing the football.
Southwick back to the air. The tight end Peters has his 2nd catch. And by his footsteps, he's dragged down by Quentin Bird. Well, Super Social Saturday continues on CBS Sports. Tell us why you love college football using the hashtag CBS Super Social. 2nd down and 6. Williams Rhodes now a new career high. That's his 10th catch. And right at the sticks, he's tackled by Tay Glover Wright.
That's 2 plays in a row. They've gone to the perimeter to Shane Williams Rhodes. And again, those are essentially runs, ways for Boise State to get the football outside. And when the defense starts to adjust, their counteraction is to be able to gash you in the middle. Remember, their running backs, particularly Jay Ajayi, is very good running between the tackles.
It's 3rd down and 1. Ajayi has the 1st down. And he gets across the 40 to the 38-yard line. Zach Vigil on the stop, but a clutch 3rd down run for Jay Ajayi.
Boise State has historically been a run-first team, but in this game, it seems like the pass is what they're using to be able to set up the run, but so impressive with Ajayi, his ability to run behind his pads and get north and south.
Utah State has put its top corner, Nevin Lawson, on Williams Rhodes.
They're manned up here. Press coverage at the bottom.
They fake it to Williams Rhodes. Southwick in trouble, and Southwick is sacked. 2nd time tonight, the Utah State defense comes up with a sack. It's Jordan Nielsen.
You got to credit B.J. Larson. You see the man coverage right here, one-on-one. Here's Larson off that outside side. He gets a little bit of pressure, which I think makes Joe Southwick get off the block. He just absolutely runs over Jay Ajayi, and that allows his pursuit, the rest of that defensive line, to finish the job.
2nd down and 16. Play fake to Ajayi. Southwick throws towards the sideline, and the pass is caught. That's Aaron Burks who reels it in. Tay Glover Wright on the coverage for Utah State.
We've been on Tay Glover Wright all night. Those sorts of plays when you can tackle a guy as soon as he's got the ball in his hands to bring up a big 3rd down is just what this young quarterback needs, or rather a senior, to be able to get some confidence back with another big 3rd down here.
3rd down and 9. Williams Rhodes in motion.
Man coverage again.
Lawson follows Williams Rhodes out there.
Got inside leverage.
3 on the play clock. And Southwick didn't get it off. Flag comes in. That's a delay of game.
There is no foul on the play.
Wow.
Boise State called a timeout. This is a 30-second timeout.
I don't know about that. I was closely watching the play clock, and Southwick was late and got away with one there. No penalty.
Part of what this offense does is they make adjustments, look to the sidelines. That time Joe Southwick wanted Shane Williams Rhodes to go out further, and then with the press coverage, he's trying to redirect protection and indicate who the mic is. Man, that was close.
That's a penalty. I'm sorry. Robert Prince, the offensive coordinator for Boise State in his 2nd year, said that during the bye week last week, he did a self-scout of the offense, and his biggest takeaway is he was happy with the run game. Boise State averaging 209 yards on the ground this season. But so far tonight, just 72 yards rushing.
Utah State Aggies have a pretty good front 7. They don't give you a lot of room to run. Did a great job against BYU and Taysom Hill last week. But again, struggling to stop the ball through the air.
So 3rd down and 9 again. Southwick throws, and it's caught right at the first down marker by Boldevine, wrestled down by Quentin Bird, but that's going to be good for a Boise State first down.
Yeah, Geraldo Boldevine, the redshirt senior out of Amsterdam, is a big target at 6'4", just presses the field vertically and then stops. The defensive back loses his feet a little bit, and that little bobble by Quentin Bird allows Boldevine to come back and get the football.
Ajayi wrapped up by Pataya Eli.
I'm glad you said that.
Senior nose guard out of West Valley City, Utah, had a career-high 5 tackles in last week's loss to BYU.
Yeah, it was a real force in there in the middle as a nose guard. With only 3 down linemen, you got to be a block eater.
Southwick has an open man. Boldevine spins to the 10, and the ball came out at the end, but he was already down.
Been really impressed, Andrew, with Geraldo Boldevine's route running. This time he sells the vertical route again, stops on a dime. The defensive back this time, Tay Glover right, loses his footing. He gives him a little bit of a cushion, but that slip again allows Boldevine to be able to come back for the perfectly placed football.
First down and goal for Boise State. They're 4 out of 4 in the red zone tonight. Williams Rhodes trying to get down the sideline, and he's knocked out inside the 5. 11th catch of the night for number 11.
That was Jeremy Morris, number 17, that was out there on that edge. Those bubble screens can hit so quick, which is why Boise State likes to run them down there in the red zone, because you don't have to go far. But again, this is where Boise likes to hit you. Utah State has to get ready.
Southwick to Williams Rhodes, makes the catch, dives, and he's in. Touchdown, Shane Williams Rhodes. Second passing touchdown of the night for Joe Southwick.
Boise State is so good about getting the ball outside to the perimeter, just in that simple pyramid or triangle formation, low ball. But again, the reason you run those down there is because you only got to get 3 or 4 yards out in space, and that's the 8th bubble screen that they've thrown out to the flat, and this one gets them 6 more.
The career night continues for sophomore Shane Williams Rhodes. The smallest guy on the field has come up huge for Boise State. 12 catches, 131 yards, 1 touchdown. Broncos up by 21.
College football on CBS Sports Network is being brought to you by Rent-A-Center. With the Rack Flex plan, you can get 90 days same as cash with no credit needed. By Northrop Grumman, the value of performance. And by your local Acura dealer.
Boise State up 31-10 with 9:33 to go in the third quarter. That last drive, 11 plays, 69 yards. Williams Rhodes with the touchdown. But Aaron, I think you got to put an asterisk on that drive. It really looked like that should have been a delay of game penalty on the Boise State offense. Instead, they were granted a timeout. And this is Tay Glover right from his own end zone, and he's tripped up right before the 15-yard line. Well, we asked you to post photos using the hashtag CBS Super Social. Here's one of our favorites at JFRod5. Go Aggies. Hashtag CBS Super Social. Hashtag USU Football. Hashtag beat BSU. They've got some work to do to accomplish that last hashtag. Down by 21 points and a new quarterback for Utah State. It's the true freshman Darryl Garrettson. Has not played a snap until right here, and starts it with a handoff to Joey DiMartino. The original plan with Garrettson was to redshirt him this entire year. However, when Chucky Keaton went down last week, Garrettson and Harrison battled at practice, and Harrison played the first half and the first drive of the second half. It'll be Garrettson here, and there's an injured Bronco down on the field right at the 25-yard line. It's the safety, Jeremy Ioane.
Yeah, Craig Harrison was only 7 of 17 passing in the first half and that first drive. I mean, you got to think about the struggles that they've had offensively for Utah State. 4 of their 9 offensive drives have been 3 and outs, and that first drive of the third quarter that's so important The first play should have been a first down, but because the pass was poorly thrown and off target by Craig Harrison, they ended up going another 3 and out. So I think a quarterback change is probably the right call here, because you need to be able to get something to spark your offense before this game gets out of hand. Man, this team misses Chucky Keaton.
So Harrison on the sideline. Garrettson into the game. 6 feet tall, 200 pounds. Chandler High School, Arizona. His first collegiate pass is incomplete. He was looking for Travis Van Leeuwen.
Boise State defensively, you know that defensive coordinator Pete Kwiatkowski knows when you've got a true freshman in, he's going to dial up all the exotic blitzes he has to be able to force Darryl Garrettson to be able to make some good decisions. One of my keys to success was third down proficiency, and Utah State's been held to 1 of 8 tonight. Boise's done a great job.
3rd down and 4. Garrettson on the run to his right, holds on to it, and he dives forward, and that's going to be short of a first down. Ben Weaver applying pressure for the Boise State defense. And that's the 5th 3 and out for Utah State tonight.
They just haven't been able to find any sort of consistency to move the ball with regularity. And this is the part of the game where it starts to take its toll, because their defense has been out there a lot tonight.
Williams Rhodes is the return man for the Broncos. He calls for a fair catch at the 40. A 37-yard punt. Boise State still up by 3 touchdowns. .8:20 to go, 3rd quarter. Boise State up 31-10 on Utah State. As we take a look at tonight's Northrop Grumman aerial performance of the game, it's the little guy, AT.
Shane Williams Rhodes, whether it was this first wheel route that he caught on that opening drive or the 11 other catches he's had since then, he's been an absolute factor on this drive. Here in the 3rd quarter, he caught 4 passes. Most of those have been bubble screens. Number 11 is electrifying when he has the ball in his hands, and he brings the element of speed to this team that Boise State hasn't had in a while.
He's from Spring, Texas, but he walks around campus in Seattle Seahawks gear. Why? Because Percy Harvin is his favorite player. 1st down and 10 for Boise State, and Southwick will throw. Gets rid of it, and guess who? Williams Rhodes with a 1st down before Lawson could bring him down. A 19-yard pickup for Shane Williams Rhodes. Brian Douglas, the cornerback for Boise State, said during practice, quote, "That little dude is so frustrating."
And he's so fast, and it's just man coverage again, and it's so hard to be able to cover somebody with that much speed and man coverage, especially on a crossing route.
Penalty flag on the play. Jim Farmer sorting it out, and here's the call.
Offsides defense, number 97. Made contact. 5-yard penalty. Remains 1st down.
That's the sophomore Jordan Nielsen. Williams Rhodes has 6 catches for over 10 yards, and look at these numbers. He has 150 yards receiving tonight on the season. Total coming into the game, he had 206. Following the penalty, 1st and 5. And here's the trick play. They throw it, and it's intercepted. Snuffed out by Brian Sweet. Give the interception to Thomas Spurbeck, the freshman. And the INT for Brian Sweet is 1st of the year.
Yeah, been a rough night for Matt Miller, Joe Southwick, and the rest of this offense. We know that Boise State is used to dialing up specials, and here they just go with the double pass. It's right there, but the ball's a little bit late, and it allows Brian Sweet to force one of those much-needed turnovers that we were talking about this defense needed to create.
Spurbeck, a true freshman out of Carmichael, California. At Jesuit High School his senior year, he led the team in passing, rushing, and tackles. So he has thrown the ball before. That one's picked off. Garrettson looking deep. Caught! Reynolds at the 45. first completion for Garrettson. It goes for 39.
I love it on sudden change situations like a turnover. You got to hit the gas pedal. That time, Travis Reynolds, credit him for this. This ball was underthrown, but he fights and goes up and high points it and uses his big body to take advantage of the shorter defensive back and come down with the catch. Utah's good in midfield. They got to find a way to be able to string some drives together and convert, Andrew. Sorry about that, buddy.
1st and 10. Garrettson in trouble, and he's brought down. Tyler Horn getting back there for the Boise State defense.
There's nothing worse than a sack to be able to stall momentum. Here you see the defensive line all in 2-point stances. Too many guys running free. That offensive line that has played pretty well throughout the year, struggling when Utah State needs them to play best most.
Garrettson looking deep, floats one to the middle of the field, and it's broken up. No penalty call on the play, but Aaron, that was a dangerous pass.
Yeah, it was, and it should have been possibly offensive pass interference there. I think he does a good job of being able to shield maybe the eyes a little bit. Bruce Natson does of the defender. But that was a poorly thrown, underthrown football that could have been easily picked.
Well, here we go again for Utah State on 3rd down. They are 1 out of 9 tonight. 3rd down and 12 with 6:27 to go, 3rd quarter. Garrettson floats another one to the middle of the field, and it's picked off. Intercepted by Brian Douglas. That's his 4th of the year. And almost a carbon copy of the last incompletion from Garrettson. And now we have some late penalty flags that come in. A little pushing and shoving after.
Obviously, Garrettson shouldn't have thrown that pass, but it effectively ends up being like a punt. So it's not the end of the world, even though you'd have liked to have converted. But another missed opportunity for Utah State after a great play on defense.
Boise State came into the game with 8 interceptions. That's tied for 15th in the country. Now they've got 9, and Douglas has 4 of the 9.
After the play, unsportsmanlike conduct. Utah State, number 28, 15-yard penalty. 1st down, Boise State.
That's on Joey DiMartino, and Darryl Garrettson throwing his first career interception with 6:16 to go in the 3rd quarter. Matt Wells' team was looking for a spark, but instead the true freshman turns it over. Douglas with the pick, a little extracurricular after the play. It's 31-10 Broncos. True freshman Darryl Garrettson on the phone with his offensive coordinator Kevin McGivern after a dangerous pass was followed up by an interception. And Brian Douglas, what a year he's having. 2 picks against UT Martin. Took this one back 33 yards for a touchdown. And now tonight, his 4th interception of the season. He's now tied for 1st in the country with 4 INTs.
Yeah, he just seems to be at the right place at the right time, and he's the Energizer Bunny for that defense and having another great night.
Southwick in the offense back on the field, and they start on the ground at Derek Thomas. The transfer from Butler Community College, Jake Dowdy on the stop.
Well, now that Boise State has a 21-point lead here halfway through the 3rd quarter with a true freshman quarterback that just turned it over, my expectation is they're going to dial up the run game big time on this series.
And we have movement on the line. Travis Seafelt, number 70, knocked over Boise State center. See who flinched first.
Offsides, defense, number 70. 5-yard penalty, remains 2nd down.
Seafelt, a sophomore out of Sun City, Arizona, and he'll come out of the game.
Utah State only had 3 penalties last week against BYU, and you wonder if frustration is starting to set in for this defensive team.
Southwick has a wide open man in Jake Hardy into Utah State territory. Fackrell on the stop. That's the 11th straight completion for Joe Southwick, dating back to the second quarter.
See that Utah State dials up a blitz. It's just a busted coverage, which allows the big tight end to be able to get out to the flat into the seam. Nobody around him.
33-yard gain for Hardy. This is Thomas on the ground. Thomas is at a unique route to Boise State. Native of Texas, went to high school in Alabama, ended up going to junior college, Butler Community College, had an offer from Ole Miss, but ended up going to Boise State. Just 7 carries on the season coming into the night. Now Thomas with his 4th carry of the evening. Brian Sweet on the tackle, and you're going to see a lot more of Derek Thomas. The freshman Aaron Baltazar tore his ACL last time out against Southern Miss. That's a big loss for Boise State. He was their number 2 back behind Ajayi, averaging 4.7 yards per carry.
No question, Derek Thomas is a junior college transfer that had an epic career as a junior college running back. Broncos are hoping he can bring the same to their team.
3rd down and 4. Thomas takes the snap. He'll keep it. And nothing doing there.
Zach Vigil was the first player there coming from that inside linebacker position to be able to get his hand on him. Paul Pacala was there to finish it off. Just trying to run the Wildcat, fake the fly sweep. You see Vigil right there to be able to force him back inside and let old number 48 come in and finish it off.
It looks like Boise State's going to go for it on 4th down. They're 4 out of 9 on the season. 4th down and 3. Southwick in the shotgun. Gets rid of it, and it's caught by Miller. Lost the football, got it back. That's a catch, a fumble, and a recovery. And now 12 straight completions for Joe Southwick, who was feeling the heat from Kyler Fackrell.
Yeah, this is another example of Boise State taking advantage of man coverage, and Nevin Lawson loses his footing. And a lot of these stop or comeback routes, the defensive backs for Utah State have been slipping as they try and change direction. That's happened several times tonight.
Might take another look at this one.
The ruling on the field was the pass was complete. The previous play is under further review.
Well, Andrew, to me, it looked like Miller caught the football. And when Lawson came, he turns to get upfield, and that's when Lawson comes around. He catches it, and he turns to spin to run. He's got it secure, and then Lawson disengages that football, and Miller recovers his own fumble. That's a catch. Ball security of the utmost importance. This offense has only turned it over 8 times so far this year.
Well, if it stands, it's the 2nd catch. Could have been a face mask there, too, for Matt Miller, who's now 4 away from passing Jeremy Childs for 4th all-time on the Boise State receptions list.
Miller's been pretty quiet tonight. He's had several balls earlier in the first half that he's had in his hands that he wasn't able to come up with. Some of them, in all fairness, would have been pretty great catches.
After further review, the ruling on the field is confirmed. Completed pass.
So replay official Gary Brown confirms that one up in the booth, and it's a 1st down for Boise State.
Chris Peterson's team liking what they see in man press coverage. They've had a lot of success throwing the football outside and on those quick slants inside versus that coverage. Got Matt Miller warmed up. down at the bottom of the screen again.
Southwick will run it and gets down at the 21-yard line. Southwick tonight has thrown for 321 yards. And that moves him up to 7th on Boise State's all-time passing list.
See Boise State huddling up now, almost to the red zone, but they break that huddle quickly and make guys get lined up fast.
Southwick looking, end zone, incomplete. He was looking for Aaron Burks, who caught a touchdown back in the first half.
That ball was almost there. It floated on him a little bit. Maurice Alexander, who was bailing, just a little bit late getting over. But that ball needed to be thrown on a rope. There's just a little bit too much air underneath it.
And that's his first incompletion since the second quarter.
He can spin that rock now. Taking a lot of heat for the shoes he had to fill in Kellen Moore, but Joe Southwick's been a pretty dang good quarterback and grown up before our eyes for Boise State.
Big shoes to fill in Moore, and this one is incomplete. He was trying to get it to Williams Rhodes. Good coverage in the Utah State secondary, and it's 4th down and 9.
Hey, if you're Utah State, take it. I think that time Joe Southwick maybe pressed and forced a little bit of those balls. I thought that they were going to run the football a little bit more. Clearly they're feeling that they like their advantages and matchups versus man coverage that Utah State's been running quite a bit of here in the second half. But hey, the Aggies force a field goal, but they got to be careful because Boise will run some fake special teams plays also.
39-yard try from Goodale, and it is good. Boise State 34, Utah State 10. Back at Romney Stadium in Logan, Utah, as CBS Super Social Saturday rolls on. Andrew Catalon alongside former Notre Dame All-American Aaron Taylor and Lauren Gardner down on the sidelines. Make sure that you join the conversation on Twitter tonight at hashtag CBS Super Social. Utah State fans looking for a super comeback. They're down by 24 with 2:29 to go. Trying to avoid back-to-back losses. Utah State has not lost back-to-back games in 2 years. But that streak very much in danger tonight. If you're Matt Wells, Aaron, do you send Garrettson, the freshman, back out for this series on offense?
I think you do. You got to understand how fast that game is moving for him. He was in high school last year.
For more on Garrettson, let's go down to Lauren Gardner.
And Andrew, the true freshman, managing to keep his head up after throwing that last INT. Spent the majority of the time during that last defensive series on the phone with offensive coordinator Kevin McGivern, who told us yesterday that the things he liked most about the true freshman were his poise and accuracy. Andrew, it remains to be seen if he can use those attributes to lead the Aggies to a big second half comeback.
Yeah, 1 out of 4, and we'll see how much he can bounce back following that interception, the last pass he had. DiMartino on first down.
Corey Bell there with the tackle. And, you know, you talk about that interception when Garrettson came out. He completed that first big ball after the sudden change, right? And it was kind of an underthrown jump ball. You wonder if that gave him a false sense of security, because remember, in high school, those are probably completions if you've got pretty good receivers. But that young man will learn from it, and he's got to go through his read progressions, and that's hard to do when the game's moving so fast.
On second down, he throws this one high over the head of Travis Van Leeuwen. And Utah State, again, trying to avoid a 3-and-out.
Yeah, Bo Martin and Kyrie Marshall, doing a good job of applying the pressure. It's hard enough to be able to throw the football accurately in your first college action, but to do so when people are barreling down on you. This young man literally hasn't taken a whole lot of reps until this week. He was taking mental reps. That's just a lot to ask for a 19-year-old. But he's got to step up to the task.
Third down. Garrettson gets away from one, but not another. Brought down by Armand Nance.
Armand Nance, number 40, third on the team in tackles and just does a good job of beating the right guard, Marcosian. Here's him, and there's Nance. Ricky Chongachu, and then actually it was Bo Martin that came pretty much unblocked, and Nance finished him off. If you're that right guard, Jamie Marcosian, who we were bragging on earlier for getting downfield and having a good block, you got to give your young quarterback a little bit more time. That can break his confidence.
6 3-and-out for Utah State. They're now 1 out of 11 on third downs. And again, as we highlighted off the top, this is a critical game in the Mountain Division of the Mountain West. The winner tonight controls its own destiny moving forward. Utah State at 2-0, Wyoming at 2-0. But if Boise State wins, they'd be in the driver's seat if they win out. They do play Wyoming later in the year.
Yeah, no question, and that's where you want to be. And Boise's goals certainly are to win the conference first, and all those are still alive. They lost to a team at Fresno State that's undefeated, and they are from the West Division, but controlling your own destiny is where you want to be.
First time there will be a Mountain West championship game this year. It's December 7th at the higher seed, and for Boise State, they're hoping for a potential rematch against Fresno State, a game you'll see on CBS.
Yeah, I think they got shell-shocked a little bit, and you know, starting out 3-2 certainly not the way that you want or what you expect as a Boise fan, but when you consider the two teams they lost to, Fresno State and the University of Washington, got to give them a little bit of credit. And there you just see Ajayi running hard, but that Mountain West Conference championship game, Andrews, going to be a big one. It's the first title game in league history, going to be December 7th on CBS. You and I are going to have the pleasure of being able to call that game, and it's going to be the winner of each division, the West Division and the Mountain Division. And if there is some issues, the team with the highest BCS ranking will be at their home court field, I guess, since this is football.
And potentially Fresno State, yes, not court. Fresno State could be undefeated going into that game. That would certainly be the drama on December 7th. We are through 3 quarters at Romney Stadium. Boise State 34, Utah State 10. You're watching college football on CBS Sports Network, the 24-hour home of CBS Sports. We head to the 4th quarter in Logan, and Boise State in control of this one, up 34-10. On Utah State. Well, we've been telling you throughout the night it is CBS Super Social Saturday. We asked you to tweet at the hashtag CBS Super Social, and now here's one of our favorites from @BroncoP3T3. I celebrate Boise State by putting out my Bronco lights, cooking tater tots, and munching on hot wings with the fam. I mean, who doesn't do that, though?
I mean, tater tots. I bet they eat them with a spork. You remember sporks back in 8th grade?
Good stuff.
Oh.
They're so useful, the spork.
It's a spoon fork, and then you could have the fights to try and break the teeth off the forks, like when you would play pencils and try and break pencils.
Try and break pencils?
Yeah, you never played pencils?
No.
Did you ever sell now-and-laters for money?
Yes, actually I did. Yeah. First down and 10 here for Boise State. And that's Ajayi to the 44-yard line. This Boise State team has really found its groove. We talked about the losses this year, losing the opener to Washington and losing to Fresno State, but in their last 4 games, they're averaging 51 points per game as Southwick is picked off by Lawson. Lawson might take this one the distance. Nevin Lawson, touchdown Aggies, 62 yards. Joe Southwick's second interception of the night, and it gives Utah State a pulse in this 4th quarter.
Nevin Lawson's 3rd interception on the year, and 2nd tonight was a big one, and shows you the heart and character of this team. Utah State being down by what they are, is now going for two. Matt Wells and his team, they play to win.
First time this season the Aggies are going for two. Garrettson's pass incomplete. They were trying to get it to 16 so that 2 touchdowns and 2-point conversions would have tied it, but instead they're not able to convert. But let's go back to the touchdown, Aaron.
Once again, Nevin Lawson matched up one-on-one with Geraldo Boldevine, but does a good job of keeping inside leverage. The ball was thrown to the inside portion of his receiver, and Nevin Lawson just fought for it. And this time it's Boldevine who loses his footing. And a lot of the skill players on the perimeter all night have been losing their footing, and up until that play it was mostly on Utah State. But the first time a Boise State Bronco loses his footing, it ends up being a pick six the other way for Nevin Lawson. Great coverage there in man-to-man.
Third turnover tonight by Boise State. So 34-16 is the score.
And I think Joe Southwick was just getting a little bit greedy there, going back to the well one too many times. But you have to wonder, with the lead that they had, why are they throwing the ball in the fourth quarter? Well, they're only averaging 3 yards per carry. They had been throwing some bubble screens out on the perimeter that act like runs, but the running room just hasn't been there tonight for the Broncos.
And a touchback. Boise State will start at the 25. Well, it's CBS Super Social Saturday. Please follow us at all of our social media accounts all day long. So Southwick will come right back out. And you expect that we'll see a little more on the ground this time?
Well, I thought we would have saw it earlier in the third quarter with them running the football with the lead that they had. You want to be able to bleed the clock, particularly when you're on the road, but they kept throwing it, and I think Joe Southwick just got caught with his hand in the cookie jar and a rare interception.
Boldevine is rocked. Jeremy Morris on the tackle for Utah State.
Jeremy Morris listed as the third or fourth cornerback on this Utah State team, and old number 17 has been playing pretty well tonight for the Aggies. Just tight coverage, and again, live by man coverage, you die by man coverage. The last one got an interception. This one's a tackle for loss. You have to tackle well and be disciplined with your eyes there.
Screen to Ajayi, and he's tackled from behind. Jake Dowdy was able to grab onto Ajayi's legs, and that'll bring up third down and short for Boise State.
Boise State 8 of 14 tonight on third down, and a big reason why is because they keep it third and manageable. Anything 3rd and 5 and above significantly increases the chances of you being able to convert.
Personnel changes here for third down, including Southwick, who comes out of the game. And there's the backup quarterback, Grant Hedrick. He's got good speed. Hedrick, though, nowhere to go. Thrown for a loss. Quentin Bird and Nick Vigil stacking up Hedrick, and Boise State will have to punt.
Keep your eye on number 99 getting upfield. Grant Hedrick does a good job of running the zone read option, but this time it's the defensive line of Utah State that crosses faces, gets penetration, and forces the punt on third down. Beautifully played run by the defensive line of the Aggies.
Broncos really like Hedrick. They have a package for him every game, not able to convert that time on third down. And this is Sean Whale to kick it away. Natson fields it at the 30, and he's tackled at the 28-yard line by Taylor Loeffler. 12-16 to go. Does Utah State have a rally in them? Well, Boise State, it's 2 losses coming on the road. The opener at Washington, the Huskies racked up 592 yards of offense, a 38-6 win, and then a great game at Fresno State on September 20th. They could not convert a critical 4th down late, and they lost to Fresno for the first time since 2005. As we take a look at tonight's Go RVing road trip facts for Boise State. 0-2 record this season on the road, but in October they have not lost a road game under Chris Peterson. Last October road loss, 2001 at Rice.
So you're saying there's more tricks than treats, or more treats than tricks, I guess.
Well, they bring these guys on the road. How can you lose with them right there? Garrettson hands off to Marshall, who's had a big game for Utah State. Finally brought down by Corey Bell.
That was a nice physical run by Robert Marshall. 6 foot, 225 pound, senior out of Dallas, Texas. And say what you want to about Matt Wells' team. They certainly do play hard.
Back on the ground and a first down for Utah State. They give it to Marshall.
I love it. This is what Utah State should have been doing, and I think was trying to do the entire game up until this point. We talked about at the open of the show. Take the pressure off of the quarterback position by the offensive line and the running game taking over. Until those last two plays, they just haven't found much room.
Just the second first down of the half for Utah State. And they get it up to midfield with Marshall right in the hot hand.
Another good block by Tyler Larson, number 58, the center there. Just a simple inside zone. Run to the weak side. And they found some pay dirt. That's a great gain on first down. Exactly what it is you want to do. Because what this allows you to do is take some chances downfield off of play action.
Was that a huddle we just saw? You don't see too many of those in college football these days, especially with these two teams. Second down and 4. Garrettson's pass is caught by Natson to the 45. Another first down for Utah State. Ben Weaver on the tackle.
That's their second first down of this second half. Consistency and stringing drives together, something they haven't been able to do, but maybe huddling up and settling down and establishing the run game is the perfect recipe.
10.5 to go. Marshall picks up 1 on the play.
Starting to ISO cam 58, their center Tyler Larson. When you get late in ball games, you need your offensive line to be able to take over and control the point of attack. And so far on this drive, they've been doing exactly that.
NFL scouts love Tyler Larson. He's making his 45th straight start tonight. His brother Cody is a defensive tackle on the Ravens practice squad. Garrettson looking deep for Van Leeuwen. Dangerous pass picked off again. Dante Dion picks the freshman Garrettson, and Boise State gets the ball back.
It's another high school throw, Andrew. Plain and simple, you just can't throw that ball, and the defensive back has inside leverage.
Garrettson with a rough collegiate debut, his second interception of this half. .950 to go, fourth quarter from Romney Stadium. Boise State on top 34-16. Here are the results from our Super Social Saturday Facebook poll. With 2 minutes left in a tie game, which Mountain West quarterback would you want on the field? We have a tie between Southwick and Derek Carr of Fresno State. So Aaron, I'll let you break the tie.
Man, that's a tough one. Joe Southwick's made some costly errors so far tonight, throwing 2 picks. Derek Carr seems to have done a good job in high-scoring games and shootouts against very good teams and is undefeated this year. So for this year in particular, I think I got to go with Derek Carr.
Ajayi is wrapped up. Zach Vigil and Kyler Fackrell combining to make the stop. No gain on the play.
I'll tell you this, I don't mind Joe Southwick. I think Joe Southwick has probably gotten the short end of the stick a little bit because he followed the all-time winningest quarterback in college football history in Kellen Moore. Struggled at the beginning of last year, but I think has really come on and developed into a nice quarterback. This is a very young team. It's not just on the number 16.
Southwick throws it away. There's a penalty flag on the play.
That ball made it past the line of scrimmage, didn't it?
I believe so. Referee Jim Farmer trying to sort it out. I think it's going to be a hold against Boise State.
The right tackle. Gets beat right off the snap.
Holding, offense number 70. That penalty is declined. Third down.
That's on Stephen Backett, the backup offensive lineman. And here's the footsteps that Southwick has had to follow in Kellen Moore, who had an incredible career with the Broncos. He's now the third stringer for the Detroit Lions.
Just incredible location. If there's something that really stands out for Kellen Moore, it's that asterisk at the top, which is that it's an FBS wins record, but his location, his ability to anticipate and throw guys open was as impressive as I've ever seen in college football.
Southwick looking deep, and it is broken up by Lawson. He was looking for Aaron Burks, but Boise State goes 3 and out. They'll have to punt.
I don't know, man. Joe Southwick doing his best Darryl Garrettson impersonation. He's thrown a ton of jump balls late in this ball game. Nevin Lawson again, not the tallest of defensive backs at only 5'10", but pretty good coverage, and the officials letting them play, both getting a little bit grabby, but number 1 is playing pretty stout out there on the edge. Now, Utah State, we know that they blocked a punt earlier in this game. They would love to be able to do that again.
Nice catch off a rough snap by Trevor Harmon. And that's unless this one bounces. Utah State will have great field position at the Boise State 49-yard line with 8:54 to go.
You know who's got a really good punter? It's Temple.
Paul Layton is 15th in the country. It's my brother-in-law. Thanks for bringing it up, Aaron.
You're welcome.
Checks in the mail. Now Garrettson's going to come back out. He's 2 for 7. And Garrettson has tossed 2 interceptions in this half. First down and 10 with great field position.
Those balls were late and underthrown. They have to be able to establish the run and create some matchup situations that are favorable.
Marshall on the carry. Garrettson, during that last timeout, talking with his offensive coordinator, Kevin McGivern.
Look at him scratch his head there like, man, what is on my play call sheet that I feel comfortable dialing up with a true freshman?
Well, this is the time to use it. Time running down on the Aggies. 8:20 to go. Garrettson will throw. And it's caught at the 41-yard line. That's Swindle on the catch, tackled immediately by Ioane.
So here we are on third down, and Utah State so far tonight has only been 1 for 11.
3rd and 1, ball is loose. They botched the handoff. Boise State is pointing their way, and it's Boise State football. Garrettson and Marshall never connected on the handoff, and another turnover by the Aggies.
True freshman quarterback, backup running back. You have to be able to get that mesh. He reverses out. Looks like he kind of short set it. But if you're Robert Marshall, you got to make sure you got a hold of the football before you try and get that first down.
Great job by Tyler Horn to recover. Boise State back on offense. How about the mascot, Big Blue, going in for a hug on Lauren Gardner. 7:56 to go in the fourth. Boise State up 34-16 on Utah State. And that's Ajayi with a power run. That's his 20th carry of the night.
There was an impressive block by the right guard, Marcus Henry, number 72. Keep your eye right here on the goings-on. Just blows up the center on a great combination block. Gets to the next level to keep the linebacker off of him, and Ajayi, once he gets to the second level, does the rest of the work. Big run on first down for Boise State.
And with that run, he goes over 100 yards on the game at 105. The third career 100-yard rushing game for Jay Ajayi. The second one this year, he had 125 against Air Force. We go back to Ajayi, his 21st carry to the 39-yard line. Well, as part of Super Social Saturday, former Boise State linebacker Darryl Acree has been tweeting throughout the second half, and here's one of our favorites. I realized when I kept fouling out in basketball that football was the sport for me. You can ask Darryl questions, hashtag AskDarryl. Sounds like a linebacker.
Very much sounds like a linebacker. You have to have that killer instinct, that physical mentality to play that position. So probably a pretty good choice by Acree.
Second and 5.
Ball carrier Jay Ajayi.
It's Ajayi again with 6.5 to go.
By the way, Utah State, Bo, you back up. Been some great running backs at Boise State. A lot of people thought and think that Jay Ajayi could be one of those, and he's only a third-year sophomore, but fumbling issues and ball security have been the things that have plagued him. But other than that, he's averaging, coming into tonight's game, almost 5 yards per carry, 8 touchdowns. Certainly got a lot more potential on his upside.
Southwick on third down, pass is dropped. Aaron Burks had that one and could not hold on.
There's been a lot of dropped balls for Boise tonight, uncharacteristic for this team. This team works on catching and securing the football, and Aaron Burks that time got away with a push-off, which most receivers will, and you got to love the aggressiveness of that. But when he created that separation, that last bit of focus and concentration was lacking on that play.
4th down and 6, and Boise State is going to go for it.
Might be a pooch.
Southwick has punted once this year. And now he's punted twice. Van Leeuwen calls for a fair catch at the 9-yard line. Time now to take a look at tonight's touch of the game, brought to you by Delta Faucet. It's actually a couple of touches. Couple of picks for Nevin Lawson, who's had a big night on defense for Utah State. Took this one back for a touchdown.
Nevin Lawson act like he was an offensive receiver, and that the football, once it was in the air, was his to take home. Just tremendously aggressive in his play tonight. They've asked a lot of him, playing a lot of cover one and man-to-man coverage on a pretty physical group of good receivers. And Lawson certainly got the better of this group tonight.
Give is to Marshall, who finds a hole. And Aaron, you remember that Lauren Gardner told us earlier that DiMartino was kind of getting stretched out with the trainers in the first half. Haven't seen too much of DiMartino in this second half. It's been all Marshall. Picks up a first down there, 1st and 10. Marshall carrying the pile forward. Big night for Nevin Lawson, now with 3 interceptions on the season.
You know, when you look at this Utah State team, there's a lot of good pieces to be able to build on. Without question, losing Chucky Keaton was a serious, serious blow to the solar plexus of this team. But there's a lot of good young talent on this team. You see Chucky Keaton right here in the hat. His buddy right there. Oh, he just woke up. Maybe he's texting a little bit, but you can't understate how important number 16 was, not only to this team, but to this entire region. I mean, when he came out of that game, Andrew, last week, you felt it. This was as electric of a environment as there was. And Chucky Keaton, when he went down with that fluke knee, when he wasn't even being touched, was certainly costly for this program.
He has not had surgery yet. There's still too much swelling in his left knee. They're hoping he has surgery sometime next week. There is an injured Bronco down on the field at the 34-yard line. That appears to be DeMarcus Lawrence.
Full media
We'll
time.
step aside and come right back.
College football on CBS Sports Network is being brought to you by Allegra Allergy Relief. Fast, non-drowsy, 24-hour allergy relief that starts working in 1 hour. By Nissan, premier partner of the Heisman Trophy. And by Sonic. Sonic's Super Crunch chicken strips are juicy and crunchy.
Now that guy put on a show during that last timeout. I think he's going to need a 20-second timeout after doing somersaults down the field. Twists and turns in this season for Utah State without Chucky Keaton. Trying to get back on track using true freshman Darryl Garrettson at quarterback as we check in with Lauren Gardner.
Well, just a quick update on DeMarcus Lawrence, who went down. They were examining his neck and head prior to this last play. He was back out in the huddle. I think they're just being extra cautious with those neck and head injuries, guys.
DeMarcus Lawrence, 6'3", 245 pounds. Got a lot of length, very athletic.
Garrettson with a nice little pitch to Kennedy Williams for a Utah State first down.
Hey. I think that's their second third down conversion of the night. The old shovel pass, you got to love it. You have to think that offensive coordinator Kevin McGibbon there is going to the well on his play call sheet.
Now 2 for 13 on third downs. Garrettson has thrown 2 picks tonight, and now he's been sacked. That was Bo Martin bringing down the freshman Garrettson.
Just breakdowns on the offensive line. And again, Bo Martin fighting off through the running back, through the guard there. And it was just a play action pass, and those for an offensive lineman are the hardest to block because of the time allotted. And you're out in space against an athletic guy. It asks a lot of an offensive line to be able to do it. It's certainly possible, but not surprising when it doesn't go right.
Well, there was an interesting quote in one of the local papers out here in Utah, the Standard Examiner, from Travis Reynolds, who said that on Tuesday he gathered all the wide receivers to work with Craig Harrison. Quote, he's the new QB who is supposed to be starting. Now keep in mind, Matt Wells said it was a battle all week between Garrettson and Harrison. Here you have a wide receiver coming out saying who he thought should start, and he thought it was the junior who's not in there right now, and that's something that Matt Wells is going to have to massage with his team, and that's something you experienced at Notre Dame, Aaron.
Yeah, there's no question that you want to avoid a split locker room at all costs, and we're not at all trying to say that that's what Utah State has, but you're absolutely right. When I was a senior, we had a guy, Kevin.
Utah State, 30-second timeout.
We had a guy, Kevin McDougal, that was our guy and our quarterback. We also had Ron Paulus, a tremendous true freshman that had a ton of potential, and Coach Holtz wanted Ron Paulus to be our starting quarterback. It happened that the last scrimmage in the preseason, before the season was going to start, Ron Paulus was the starting quarterback, but towards the end of the scrimmage, he threw a pass and gets hurt, and by default, Kevin McDougal had to start. Had that not happened, we as seniors and me as a captain were going to go to Coach Holtz and basically have a mutiny because we didn't want our senior season to go down in the hands of a true freshman. We really felt that Kevin gave us the best chance to win, and we ended up finishing number 2 in the country that year. So it can be problematic because players, no different than fans, certainly have their favorites.
On 3rd and 10, Garrettson's pass is caught by Van Leeuwen. He slips at the 48-yard line. If you did have that conversation with Coach Holtz, what would he have done?
Say, Aaron, get out of my office. What's yourself doing? Get out of here, sucker. Wow, in all honesty, I don't know what he would have done. I know that he valued the input of the senior class tremendously, but as a head coach, those are his decisions to make. But that's why I think that Matt Wells wants to be able to avoid it.
And they convert on 4th down to Van Leeuwen and move the sticks. Brian Douglas on the tackle.
And it's not uncommon to have true freshmen make mistakes. I mean, this was the top prospect in Arizona last year, Garrettson was. So this kid has a ton of potential. He's just raw and young. Kid was thinking about the prom last year at this time, and now he's got Boise State defense breathing down his neck.
Garrettson over the middle. It's caught by Reynolds inside the 5.
Great job by Garrettson standing tall in the pocket and taking a pop when he throws his football. Terrible run fake because Robert Marshall had to be able to come and pick up the blitz, but he completes it. Now he's in the red zone. This would be huge, not only for this team in this game, but for his confidence.
Marshall spun around and thrown down. DeMarcus Lawrence, I guess he's doing okay, as Lauren reported. He was the one that spun Marshall to the ground.
This offensive line has really struggled. There were a couple plays in this drive where there was immediate pressure, and some guys got away with some holds. This front 3 and 4 for Boise State is having tremendous success as they hurry up here and try and run another play.
Marshall again, tackled from behind by Lawrence again.
That was a power play where you pull the backside guard. Very rarely do you even try and block the end man on the line of scrimmage because they can't get there. But we talked about the length and athleticism of number 8, and he's shown it here on back-to-back plays.
30 seconds to go. Utah State not using its timeouts. They do have 2. It's 3rd down and goal. Garrettson from the shotgun. The quick slant is caught for a touchdown. Travis Van Leeuwen. And if nothing else tonight, maybe going forward, that gives the true freshman a little bit of confidence heading into next week.
There's no question. And like last week, you end the night on something positive where you struggled as an offense. But moving forward from here, Darryl Garrettson got better as this game progressed, and it wasn't always pretty, but there's something to be said about a true freshman driving his team down the field with his arm and hitting pay dirt.
He threw for 6 straight completions on that drive, and for Van Leeuwen, it's his 3rd touchdown of the year. It's a heck of a catch, too. Nick Diaz comes on for the extra point. Two-point conversion wouldn't do anything here for the Aggies with 20 seconds to go. And the kick is good, 34-23 with 20 seconds to go.
Well, we've seen some crazy special teams plays tonight, but unless Utah State can get the onside, score a touchdown, go for 2, get that, get another onside kick, I think it's pretty safe to say that the Broncos are going to win this game.
Well, we'll give the Broncos the win, so this would be the updated standings in the Mountain Division. Boise State to 2-1, and they'll have the tiebreaker over Utah State by virtue of this win. Wyoming is still perfect in conference play, but coming up later in the season, Boise State will host Wyoming. So right now, both Wyoming and Boise State, and it's still early, but both Wyoming and Boise State control their own destiny in the Mountain Division.
Wyoming having a tremendous year, and their quarterback, Brett Smith, an extremely good football player. Not on a lot of people's radars, but when you watch that young man play, it's impressive. They run the zone read. He's athletic, and he certainly can throw the football. Dave Christensen, who's the offensive coordinator in Missouri, and their prolific offenses, is getting some traction on that side of the ball in Wyoming.
First onside kick of the season for Utah State. Penalty flag down on the play. Boldevine was the man who recovered it for Boise State.
Boldevine, 1st and 10, Boise State. Tonight's official paid attendance, 25,513. Utah State Athletics thanks you for your support.
Jim Farmer still sorting this one out with 18 seconds to go. Boise State will win its 49th straight game in the month of October.
Offsides on the receiving team, number 89. The ball will be re-kicked 5 yards up the field. Please reset the clock to 19 seconds. Please reset the clock to 19 seconds.
It's Connor Peters, big tight end for Boise.
It's the punter, Jaron Bentrude, who attempted that last onside kick, and he'll try it again.
There he is, De La Salle alum. Got to get it in again. Connor Peters from Antioch.
Anytime I see De La Salle on my chart, I don't write anything down about the player because I know that you'll have it covered. And once again, Boise State recovers, and once again, it's Boldevine. All right, time now for our Napa play of the game.
Well, Shane Williams-Rhodes was so spectacular all night. Caught 4 different bubble screens on this drive, and this last one was a big one. Putting another touchdown up on the board. Number 11, what he lacks in height, he certainly didn't lack in production tonight.
13 catches, 150 yards.
Career highs for both. Explosive playmaker with a bright future for Boise State.
Southwick takes a knee, and that will do it. Utah State had won 13 straight conference games in both the WAC and Mountain West. Their last conference loss was 2 years ago against Louisiana Tech. Meanwhile, Boise State has now won 11 in a row against the Aggies, and the Broncos improved to 4-2 on the year and 2-1 in the Mountain West. They called Reggie Jackson Mr. October. Chris Peterson right behind him has not lost an October game. He's now 28-0 in the month.
Well, Chris Peterson, what we know about his teams, if they're well coached, they'll play hard. A lot of young talent on this team. Some uncharacteristic mistakes by their quarterback, Joe Southwick, but a lot of bright spots on both sides of the ball for the Broncos.
Southwick 30 out of 44, 335 yards, 2 touchdowns, and 2 interceptions. That will do it from Logan. For Aaron Taylor, Lauren Gardner, our entire crew, I'm Andrew Catalon. For scores, highlights, features, and more, go to CBSSports.com. This has been a presentation of CBS Sports Network, the 24-hour home of CBS Sports. That'll do it from Logan. Once again, the final score, Boise State 34, Utah State 23. Don't go anywhere. Inside College Football with Adam Zucker and Brian Jones starts right now.